We should be good. Hopefully. Load game. There it is. Good job. OBS can handle it sometimes. Oh my goodness gracious. That took a little bit of time to set up for some reason. Also, my hair is bothering me. But it's fine, right? I hope it's fine. Anyways, gotta scooch in so I can read better. And continue game. We were playing as Zach, I believe. And hopefully we can finish it up. I thought I already got past that. But I guess I didn't. I don't know. Relationships? Nothing really changed, so I don't know why it told me to come here. Interesting. Gotta prep my voice. Okay. The moon is well into the night sky by the time I make it back home. My heavy treads and the sound of traffic outside echoing in my ears. Definitely can hear me? Yeah. Also, if there's background noise, it's my AC. Hopefully it doesn't kick on for a while, though. Filling the empty room with some semblance of life. Nana would have scolded me if she ever hears me walk like that, but after today, I really can't give a damn about everything. The mattress creaks under my weight as I unceremoniously flop down on it, and I find myself looking at the paper under my grip. An invitation and a request to cover an event, the Wrights' housewarming party, tomorrow evening. If only it were that easy, but it'll give me a chance to talk to her about that thing in their house. With a sigh, I let my hand fall to the side of the bed with the invitation. I'll think about it tomorrow, when my head ain't muddled with thoughts of headless women and the haunting smiles of ghosts. Belatedly, it occurs to me that the last meal I ate was the one with Ashton, and an empty, gnawing ache makes itself known, but I can't bring myself to stand up. Today was a complete waste of time, and frankly, a disappointment. I don't like this. The lack of certainty, the disquiet, the lack of stable ground to stand on, the part where I do not know what will come tomorrow. Ever since that damn letter, everything has been thrown out of the loop. I wish everything stayed the same. Routine would have been easier to make sense of than this. Closing my eyes, I let the noise from the streets below lull me to sleep. At the very least, that's the thought, and that's one thing that hasn't changed. Well, he's got relatively few spooks. So I wonder if him seeing the ghost choking out Hannah was meant for Hannah to feel, or for him to see, or was it for both? Melody carries into the long hall before I cross the threshold. Solemn but gentle and soothing, a reminder of what home is. Pa's firm but meaningful gaze, Ma's wistful smiles, the warm rays filtering through the eaves at sunset, the distinct smell of wet earth and leaves after a long day's rain in our room. The room, Ma and Pa's pride and joy, a place where we once promised several springs ago. Yet it won't stop.
No, wait! Come back! I'll be good this time! Please don't leave! Please stay!
The floorboards are cold under my feet more than it usually is, the walls more foreboding than what I'm used to. Farther and farther the room goes. Ma's singing ceases, and Pa, I can't hear Pa. Not above the raucous, changing, and deafening roar of gunshots, nor the screams replacing the comforting soft melodies. There is only blinding fear. But when the light breaks... Oh God. Her skin has already taken a sickly pale color, rotten in most parts, blood dripping from every open gash and lesion on her body, bony hands gripping Hannah's neck like a noose, staining the skin underneath with a vibrant shade of scarlet. Nothing but malice fills the gleam in her eyes. A scream ripples through the air. My whole body feels distant, every limb heavy with lead, all unable to move at will. Not even so I can wipe the beads of sweat forming on my temple. I don't like this view. The rasping of my breath easily fills the room in the wee hours while I am forced back into a steady rhythm. There's a tightness in my chest I can't shake off, my heart pounding against it as if it's about to burst. Something cold has settled in my legs. Not the usual chill, oh no, that comes and goes with the passing breeze from the window, but one strong enough to sting, shackle, and even leave a frigid sensation creeping up my skin. I'm saving and looking at the branching tree real quick and getting a little terrified. Oh God, at least it doesn't look like there's any deaths yet. With every struggle I make, the pressure winds firmly around my legs, tighter and tighter and tighter, until it becomes all too much, and my heart stops. Another draft sweeps into the room and brings with it the iron tang of blood, thick, suffocating, filling my nose with a foul, sickening smell as I shift my gaze downwards and it slowly comes into view. Nightly visit? Hi! Mouth stretched in a hideous smile and eyes brimming with nothing but madness. This is not a fun view. My feet look as messed up as hers right now, which is kind of sketch. The stench of gore taints the air around me and I can't look away. From it, from her, from the terror and death that her uncanny twisted features alone scream. I try to open my mouth to shout, to ask for any help, but my voice has left my body altogether. All I have is a painful realization that no kind of plea will save me from her. Then suddenly the bed dips. I'm glad there wasn't a QuickTime event there, otherwise I think I would have died. The brutal plunge back into myself jerks me awake. There is no ear-splitting scream, no wild thrashing of limbs, just a painful, constricting awareness that something has wound itself tightly around my neck. I waste no second pulling a blanket away, but allow myself a few minutes to steady my breathing before getting out of bed. I inhale, hold, and exhale. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. But the dreams have gotten worse. Ever since 2 days ago, no longer are they a small cursory flashes that I'm used to, but vivid ones that linger. I can still feel the blood in my hands, the putrid smell of rotting flesh, the sickening crunch of bones breaking with every movement, and her cold, chilling eyes as they bore into me. I draw in one long, ragged breath, and before I know it, I'm out the door. Even in the waking world, it reeks. A bench in the park is far from the most private place for thoughts in Luxmorn, considering its location at the heart of the bustling city, but in the early hours of the morning it provides enough peace and quiet for any poor problematic soul who happens to wander here. The city is just waking up a little later than usual, but knowing what day it is, one can't fault them for being a little tardy just this once. Yet neither the pleasant morning chill nor the soft twittering of birds does anything to banish these images. Every single one has rooted itself in my head, its claws digging deep in what is no longer a safe place to hide in.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge
Creepy
is
child
falling down,
coming up.
my fair
It used to be easy finding some pretense of peace under the guise of sheer optimism, following regular routine, but now I don't know what to make of it. Sometimes it's easier to run, easier to hide when everything's falling apart. That way you don't have to be the first to witness it when it does. It worked when things went bad with the movie, after all. It also worked when Mom and Pa were taken from us. Maybe it really is better if I just... Hey, Mr. Achievement Unlocked. Hey, I don't trust you. A tiny voice gives me pause. When I look up, a little girl about 6 or 7 is peering at me. 2 wide eyes overflowing with what only can be natural curiosity one typically sees in children. I vaguely note the St. Gorietti uniform she's wearing before returning her greeting.
Hey, kid.
Kylie.
Kylie.
Kylie?
That's my name. Mama said it's rude not to call people by their names.
She then flops down in the empty space beside me, her little legs still too short to touch the ground, swinging in tune with a song she hums under her breath. I don't mind kids. Nana would often invite the ones in our old neighborhood to give them treats. Of course, by then, Sis and I were both too old to play with them, but you get used to the commotion eventually. It's not completely as unpleasant as the most people would imply. Kylie seems to be a well-behaved kid anyway.
Oh, sorry. Nice to meet you, Kylie. Is Mama here?
No, but my big brother's with me. He's taking pictures with his camera over there.
She points to the far end of the park, the one closest to the street where the kid is taking shots of something above him. It doesn't look to be birds, because all there is on that side of the park are buildings.
I don't see what's so interesting with the tip of a building, though. I'd take pictures of dogs if I were him. They're cuter.
There.
Do you have a camera too, mister?
Yeah, I'm actually a photographer.
Mama said I'm too young to get a camera.
I'm sure your mama will eventually give you one. But won't you be late for school like this?
Big brother will get us there on time. Rowan promised Papa. We aren't going to be late. It's sports day. So it's not good if you keep looking like that today.
It's not like he's gonna go to sports day.
If it ends up raining and we lose, it's your fault.
Wow.
All right, I'll try not to upset the clouds today, kid.
Is it because you're sick, mister?
Kinda. Before I know it, a smile has spread over my face. They say kids ask the toughest questions sometimes, and they sure do with how sincere Kylie looks. Lying feels like doing her a huge disservice.
No, not sick. Just having a very, very bad day.
Why is that? Is that like when my big brother ate all of my pudding?
Yes.
He did that once and then cried. It wasn't very nice of him.
Yeah, I think so. You see, there's this mean girl. She's
A
given my
ghost?
friends and I a lot of trouble. Hard to keep up when things are like that, you know? Especially when you can't do anything. It's kind of scary. Makes you wish things will just stay as peaceful as they used to be.
Maybe she just wants to be friends with you?
I don't think this girl wants to be friends with no one.
I highly doubt that. She already hurt one of my friends.
What? You mean me? Me? Isabella? Is that what he means? What are all these extra ones here?
What if she's just sad? or maybe she just wants help.
She does want help, but not helpful help.
That's what happened with Melody. I let her borrow my crayon when she left hers. Now we're playmates.
If only crayon sharing was the simplest cure.
It's not really the same thing, Kylie. What she did, they're pretty bad things.
I still think there's another reason.
Well, there is, but like it's not going to be solved by giving her a crayon.
Did you try talking to her? That's what Mama said I should do.
I don't think that'll work either.
You haven't even tried yet. You sound like Rowan.
Does Rowan see ghosts? Because then Rowan's right.
You're just scared, mister.
Well, yeah. That strikes a chord. Maybe it's the honesty in her tone or simply the truth in the words itself. I don't know why, but I can't help it. Loud enough to disrupt an elderly couple taking a leisurely walk nearby.
Why are you laughing?
That's nothing. You're a really smart kid, you know that?
That's what I've been doing, ain't it? Go full speed ahead, then backtrack when the going gets tough. Stay in my safe zone because that's what I know. Once Dr. Navarro said I should be the first one willing to deal with my problems before anyone else. I didn't show up to her next appointment after that. Gosh darn it, Zach. But he's right, and though I hate to admit it, knowing what I've seen, but the kid makes a good point too. I've been so caught up in thinking there might not be a way out. Maybe there isn't, or maybe there is, but that doesn't mean I should just leave it up to fate. Aren't spirits supposed to be humans before too? Had people they cared about lived a life of their own, smiled and laughed like the rest of us does? Do they really lose all of it after death?
You better get to school though, or you'll miss sports day. You should have won yourself some awards, alright?
Just realized these are the same people that were here before. The only thing is this yellow dress lady was over here. This couple with the kid was over here. And then this guy was like down here. And I don't know about these two here. Back when Isabella was here with Ash.
Alright. Can I show it to you when I do? That can cheer people up, right?
If we meet again. In the distance, her brother calls for her. And I took that as a sign to leave. Got things to do and to face. The first few steps, they say.
I'm good now, I think. Thanks to you. Besides, Mister needs to go. But you should show it to Mama and Papa. I'm sure they'll be proud of you, Kylie.
I will. Thanks, mister. Bye.
I give her a little pat on the head before heading my way. A small gesture of thanks from a stranger she didn't know she might have helped. She may not understand it now, even at such a young age. She already has an understanding of things, but maybe when she's older. When the world no longer seems too big for her.
But aren't you going to help me, mister?
It's the freaking ghost!
With what?
Confused, I glance back. Oh, God. Whatever cheer our little talk brought has vanished under the shadows suddenly dancing in my eyes. Oh my God. Why'd she have to get in a little girl? And the frigid air is most definitely not how the morning chill should feel, like bitter, stinging, unwelcoming. And the kid...
What do you think, mister? Are you going to help me?
What do you want from us?
The response never comes, however. Because when I blinked, gone. Oh my God, that was scary how her face actually changed back to normal. Oh my, I'm watching that back in the playthrough video that you guys are actually seeing live. Oh my God, that's so weird, it just disappears.
Hello? Mister? Are you okay?
No. For several passing seconds, I let my stare linger on her face, waiting for any sign of another change. But all that remains is in there is a carefree smile of a child. None of that spite, none of that cold, bloody smile.
Nothing, huh? I really need to go, Kylie. It
The
was
freaking
nice meeting
music!
you.
See you again, mister!
I break into a run. I don't look back, not even as I bump into a couple of passerby as soon as I'm out of the busy streets. Going insane, this is what it is. And if we don't do something soon, we all will be. I wanted to look at this. Oh, we're here. She's a cute drawing. That's a cute little girl. And this is when this happens. Got it. The tremors follow me even as I get home. I had hoped a little stroll around the block for a few hours would help. Instead, I'm assaulted with more images of her. Her smile, the loathing in her eyes, the stench of gore, the horrid crunch that comes with every movement she makes. Even old memories that have been sullied by her, and Ma's song no longer sounds as sweet as it meant to be. In the end, all I got is a sinking feeling that I will never be rid of her image, and another ridiculous idea that may or may not even work. The sun is already hanging low on the horizon when I make it back, and for the first time, coming home feels more like a chore. Only I didn't arrive to an empty room. As soon as I open the door, I'm greeted by none other than Ash?
Sup, Z-Man?
Ash. Sorry, clicking on.
I told you we should have called him before going here.
And Isabella?
It's fine.
It is Ashton I see first, sitting comfortably on my couch, munching on a bag of chips with both feet propped atop the coffee table. It's good that they're here, otherwise I think Zach would have been losing his mind even more. Whatever proverbial stone has made a home in the pit of my stomach automatically flies right out the window at the sight of him. But before any exasperation can set in, my attention is taken by the other occupant in the room. Isabella perches on the only other chain in the room, attempting to make herself smaller, it seems, from how closely she's hugging her arms together. Nevertheless, she gives me a small smile when she notices my stare. Yet somehow there ain't any warmth in it like it's supposed to have.
Hey, Zach. Sorry we just barged in here. Ash was...
Relax. Z-Man gave me a copy of the key himself.
Only after you broke the 13th one?
Jeez.
I can't keep replacing them every time you think it'd be a good idea to break into my apartment. And stop calling me Z-Man.
I didn't break anything this time.
Oh my
Ash,
god.
just because I gave you a key doesn't mean you can just stroll in here whenever you want to.
I mean, he's right.
And hey, is that my...
Ash smirks at me because of course he's the gall to smirk knowing what he did. He pops in what is very likely the last piece of chip into his mouth and folds the wrapper neatly on the table before throwing it in the nearby trash. From her chair, Isabella shoots me an apologetic smile as soon as the foil hits the waste bin with a dull thunk. Common sense dictates that I should be angry, but after everything, having something normal play out in front of me, no matter how childish their antics can get, I can't bring myself to muster even a tidbit of it. Behind me, the television starts blaring the music for the end credits of a movie. They have likely been waiting for a while if Ash has gotten impatient enough to rummage through my cupboards and watch something.
Of course he eats all of it. You know, I was saving that for the weekend. Did you at least share some with Bella?
Don't worry about it. I'm good, Zach.
Really? But it's free food, you know? What was that you usually say? You don't say no to free food? What happened?
No, I'm just not...
Hungry. That's my bad hitting the button. Ashley shrugs at the question in my eyes. I can't be the only one who finds this vibe she's giving off to be odd, and the guy has no doubt already caught a wind of it.
Aye. But if you want something, just say so. I've got a fully restocked pantry right here at your disposal. Still not a 5-star level thing, but for an empty stomach, it'd do. Just say the word.
Thanks, Zach. Maybe next time. Food is not really what we came here for.
Zach should just cook anyways.
Ash, he's the one who...
She casts a brief glance at Ash, and in an instant he sits up. Every trace of amusement is gone from his face as he clasps his hand in front of him and leans forward. A minuscule gesture meant to ease, yet the grim expression on him tells a different story altogether.
All right, you two, what's this about? I don't like those looks. What I said was weird. I'm aware of that. But I'm not taking it back. Isabella's not the only one here who's seen it.
And I saw a crazy little girl. A short but tense pause follows. They're both stalling. Under normal circumstances, I'd wait. With these two, the more you force it, the more they'll clamp down on it. But as a handful of seconds continue to slip by, the unsettling feeling in me also grows with it. Soon it turns into impatience. Before I can demand a response, though, one of them finally speaks up. It's Ashton who breaks it first.
I'm not asking you to. No, you're right. There really are some odd things going on here lately.
Yeah.
How is everything with you lately, Zach?
A little girl just got crazy possessed in the park, that's how. And she can't even visited me at night and scared the crap out of me.
Hold on, Ash. Both of you.
Both of you, exactly. Branching tree. Look at these different... This is pretty straight away. How did I go both ways here? That's strange. Oh boy. Oh boy, I'm in here now. I'm in it to win it, and then... God, Zach. Zach has so much in here.
Did I just hear you say that? Is this why Isabella's here? Has something happened?
calm down. We're just here to check on things. So, did you meet Andrew about the photos?
Yes.
What photographs?
Oh, he didn't tell her about that? Said photographs has been sitting untouched since the day I dumped them in the drawer. Isabella goes very still when I hand her the small stack. To her credit, she does not flinch like I'm expecting her to and flips through each of them in silence. But while her eyes remain strangely calm, her hands have gone rigid and her mouth has set into a thin line. She, out of all people, understands what this means. In hindsight, she should have been the one I approached before Ash. Honestly, yeah.
What did Andrew say about them?
It could be one, but there's no guarantee it's a supernatural thing. It doesn't always happen. So, that's a dead end right there. Now that I think about it, bothering that guy for this feels pretty silly now. But with the dreams lately...
That's all? Did he say anything about the damn letter at all?
Why don't you just talk to him yourself, Ash?
Did you ask him even?
I pause, glancing at him skeptically. I don't know where the sudden curiosity is coming from, but if Ashton, calm, cool, and collected as always logical Ashton, takes interest in this, something or someone must have fucked shit up somewhere. Or the world is ending. Seconds pass. The apocalypse I'm expecting to go along with doesn't arrive, however.
Yeah, that's really everything. The letter kind of slipped my mind. The photos were more important at that time. There was some stuff about the local horror stories, though. Talked about the curses, and he was really fascinated with the story about a wraith asking for a sacrifice to move on.
Well, okay, I get wanting sacrifices to move on, but my question is, does she want a specific sacrifice before she moves on? Because she's, as we know, she's already murdered quite a lot of people. So it clearly isn't just a, hey, have one person die and I'll move on situation. So is she waiting for a certain sacrifice before she's like, okay, bye? Because that doesn't seem to make any sense given how many people have died.
Kinda nasty if you ask me. But it does make sense if you simply go along with it. I'm not sure how this will help in the grand scheme of things. Why are you asking about this anyway?
Rose's death isn't just a coincidence, Zach.
Oh, is it because I finally got the proof to Ash and he's like, oh, damn.
It may have something to do with... I may have...
Wait, stop right there for a sec, Bella. I thought you ain't buying this stuff, Ash. Just the other day, you said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I still don't, but even Rebecca, out of all people, claims there's something.
She's been going through crazy shit too, I'm
Whatever
sure.
this is, someone has got to look into it. Everything about this screams shady.
Are you sure you even have the time? Ain't you busy with your current case?
Oh my god, my eye is like burning a little bit.
I got taken off that one.
Oh.
You didn't say you were taken off your case.
I just got the news this morning. Apparently the higher-ups think I'm doing a horrendous job at it. It doesn't matter though. If these two cases are connected like I initially thought, then regardless, I'm on the right track.
He's just got such a hate boner on for the rights.
Are you sure we should even be doing this?
Doing what exactly?
There's someplace we'll visit after this.
Too vague for comfort, Ash.
Yeah.
And please don't tell me you're bringing her with you.
His affirmation comes in the form of a stare, but that alone says all I need to know. What I pointed out gives him pause, though, and his voice is thick with hesitation when he addresses Isabella.
You know what? Zach's right, Isabella. You don't have to come with me.
It's not myself I'm worried about. It's you.
They should really just stick together at this point.
I'll just do this myself, if it'll get you into more trouble with your superiors. At least I can make up an excuse why I need to be there.
They want to go back to the mansion, don't they?
Don't be ridiculous. You're not walking in there without me. Besides, I think it's a little too late to back out now. Have you two seen the news this morning?
No.
I haven't, actually. Mama called, and I was busy.
The change in the air around her, while small, cannot have gone unnoticed, and it takes every willpower not to ask. Did her dad die? If her dad died, that does save a lot of the money she was going to send them, but, like, she honestly needed it to happen. Probably the only thing reigning in my curiosity is the fact that Ash himself hasn't brought it up.
No problem.
Haven't brought
It should
it
be
up
in the
either.
afternoon news as well.
That's bad grammar. Oh, God. Another guy. Man burned after room catches fire. Interesting. He grabs the remote and cycles through numerous channels until he gets to a news report about another guy who'd been found dead in the early hours of the morning today. Burned alive this time. Oddly, no fire has spread, and whatever damage has been contained within the place the body was found. The room itself, however, is completely vandalized. Help me everywhere. Another murder, and the authorities claimed. Isabella and I knew better. None of us shifts even after the report ends, but the room has suddenly felt stifling. My question is, how can Isabella think it's her fault with the letter? Because we'd never showed that guy the letter. So it's got to be something about just by entering the house, you know? Ashton's eyes have gone hooded with what appears to be restrained anger, and the remote in his hand creaks mildly under his grip. The stone is back in my stomach. A tiny little thing gripping at my insides, growing with every passing second as the dread sinks in. In the thick of it, Isabella's voice is the one that breaks the hush. A small weak thing on its own that wavers unevenly between words, but every syllable heavy with meaning.
This is because of that thing, isn't it? I did this somehow.
When it fades, all that's left in the air is her doubt and fear, while all we can do is cope.
It ain't too late. We could still fix this.
Plus,
There's
plus.
3 of us here.
I'm gonna get married to Ashton at the end of this.
4 if you count Rebecca.
And she clearly believes it's something
No.
too.
She's staying away from this.
There's no way you can keep her away if it's coming after everyone. She lifts her gaze at me, eyes steady and shoulders squared as she holds it against the baffled look I give her. Although in the next second it immediately softens and it takes me by surprise nonetheless. In those brief moments, it's like I faced a different person.
I don't want to involve her in this any more than I already have. Both of you as well.
There's literally no option for that at this point.
I already said it. That's completely out of the question. Stop asking.
Still in all, that's 2 extra heads who can do the thinking. Between us 3, I'm sure we'll figure something out pretty soon.
Don't make this whole thing sound like it's a piece of cake to deal with.
He's not, he's just trying to be positive, Ash.
It ain't. But better than sitting around, yeah?
Yeah.
Plan is still a plan.
You're going to shoot yourself in the foot one day with that kind of thinking. We don't even know who's doing this. The last 2 murders might just be similar incidents done by 2 different suspects.
Hasn't stopped you from going after them before.
But if that was true, why did they do the same help me signature writing on the wall?
Remember that time when you...
Okay, stop right there. There will be no retelling of that incident today, Z-Man. Or ever.
Keep calling me Z-Man and maybe I will.
Suddenly she laughs. Though muffled by her hands, it rings light and easy against the thick tension in the room. Still a far cry from the usual cheer she carries, but brings a welcome shift in the otherwise dreary
Thanks, you
mood.
two.
I'll tell you about it when he's not around.
Good.
Give it up, Z-Man. She's not interested.
Who says I'm not?
Seriously, she'd be interested. Ash makes a face, but chuckles at the jest despite
Why am
himself.
I even friends with you two?
Because you like Isabella, and I don't know why you're friends with Zach, but you are. And like this, most of our worries ebb away, if only for a few moments. They take their leave mere minutes close to sundown, but regardless of the lighter mood, little has been said of their plans, only vague hints at what they're aiming to do after. While it ain't any of my business to know, something about this whole thing still gnaws at me. A tiny passing thought urges me to do something as well. At this hour, the streets are once again busy with people heading home after a hard day's work. Little of the bustle matters to them as they step out of the crowded walkway, however. Ash especially. There's only his goal in his mind, and I'd wager there's nothing I can do to stop him at this point. He's probably decided on it long before they made the decision to drop by. But despite this, Isabella lags around, a worried crease in the back of her forehead, on her forehead, as she watches Ash leave his
Something
car.
wrong, Bella?
No, actually, can you check on Becca for me after this? I really didn't get the chance to tell her where I'm headed off to. Tell her I'm okay, and no, just that.
You sure I should skip on that part? If she finds out about this, she'll be angry.
Yeah.
I don't really want to deal with angry Rebecca. It gives me a stomachache just thinking about it.
Neither do I, but I'll handle it if she gets mad. Just make sure she's safe and tell her to be careful. You too. Take care of yourself.
Almost abruptly, she pauses, the gaze in her eyes hardening as she lapses into another one of those long-distance silences from earlier. This ain't just because of the whole fiasco with the letter
I don't
anymore.
want what happened to Rose to happen to you guys as well.
This one cuts deeper. Before I can ask about it, Ashton returns, casually swinging his car keys on one hand and gestures at
Come on, we
Isabella.
don't have much time. Shirley's waiting.
Who's sure? Oh, right.
His car.
Don't answer that. I don't want to hear it, you huge dork.
Says the person who gave her stuffed toys names. Batcat? Really?
It's cute. Yours is just weird.
Fair.
I'll see you later, Zach.
It did look like a bat cat. I was right. She spares me another smile, and as I watch her walk off, only now did it occur to me that none of those she gave today ever did reach her eyes. I make a grab for the back of Ash's parka. He staggers briefly before correcting himself and shooting me a confused
Is she
stare.
all right?
What? Who's okay?
Oh my God.
Isabella. She's been, I don't know, out of it today?
How dumb is Ash?
Did something happen earlier?
A scowl on his face says it
She's
all.
actually been like that this morning. I'll ask, but
Just do me a favor and watch over her. We have no idea what we're dealing with. I don't know what happened to her since the last time I saw her, but from how she's been doing today, whatever it is, seems like a pretty big deal. Wait, you didn't annoy her again, did you? Because I swear to God, if you did, you've got another thing coming for you.
I know, this is not the time to be annoying people.
what? No. Why would I? Just so you know, I already apologized for the one at the movie house. Granted, she deserved more of an apology, but I meant it that time.
Yeah, you like her. We get it. You like her. You really, really like her.
I'm just asking. I'll take your word for it. But if you can find out what's bothering her, that'd be nice. Honestly, I don't think it's the letter this time.
I'll see what I can do.
Make sure you keep yourself out of harm's way, alright?
Yeah, you too. Don't do anything reckless again.
Reckless, no. But I can't make you to promise I won't do anything. After seeing that, there's no way in hell I'm going to pretend there ain't a problem when there is. This is a really big one. And I'll be damned if I let anything happen to you guys while I sit here. I'm done running when things get tough.
Are we sure about that? But okay. He's about to argue
Look,
for a
bro,
moment,
if
but...
things ain't good, I'll be the first one out. But allow me this one thing, alright? Just this one time. If it doesn't work out, you'll be the first one to know. You can laugh then, or berate me all you want. But please don't ask me to step aside like I'm incapable of doing anything to help.
I have no idea if it's the look on my face or the tone of my voice, but ultimately, although his mouth presses into a thin line,
All
he
right.
nods.
Stay safe, Zach.
When he stumbles into the sidewalk and allows the afternoon crowd to swallow him whole, I like to think that a tiny gleam in his eyes is the closest we can get to optimism in this situation. Whether that alone will be enough to give me a peaceful sleep tonight remains to be said. Sunday! Isn't this time for the party? This is a cute drawing. Interesting how they're putting it in different orders. I thought they'd just add on to what I've already been through, but I guess not. Night falls, and despite my best attempts, sleep continues to elude me. With her image still stuck in my head, flashing every few moments, it catches me off guard. With Ma's lullaby still echoing in my ears. Oh no, what did I just do? What? I found new text? What? Ma's lullaby still echoing in my ears, no longer the soft tune it once was. Can I click on this?
All right.
Oh my god,
Stay
I
safe,
can!
Zach.
That's cool. And the terrible gnawing at the pit of my stomach is no wonder I can't bring myself to drift off even for a little while. Why did it tell me I had a... Okay. It's not as if there is a complete lack of things to do while waiting for sleep to come, if it ever will. And at 2:45 in the morning... 3 o'clock is always the, bad hour. I find myself cleaning my photography equipment for another reason than just to pass time. Oh, that's a cute picture. Though if I'm going to be honest, it's not the night terrors that are keeping me wide awake tonight, but the anxiety that and the hope that I'll hear from Ash or Isabella soon. Yeah, I skipped all the way up to here now. Oh my god, there's a QuickTime event coming up. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. And for what's perhaps the 42nd time, my eyes shift over to the end of the table where my phone lies still. I'm so scared of these QuickTime events. I've not heard from them since they left. They haven't promised to call, of course, but a small part of me wishes that they would have common sense at the very least. Waiting is a tough game, and with the concern stretching out in minutes far longer than usual, it's impossible for more unpleasant thoughts not to enter my mind. Moreover, it does not help that when the clock finally strikes 3... I told you, 3 o'clock is the bad hour. Oh my god, she's right there. Oh, lady. It'll be a complete and utter lie to say my heart didn't leap straight to my throat in that brief second. My whole body has gone motionless, ears straining for any further sounds. A couple of tense seconds pass. Nothing. Of course, with how old the building is I'm staying in, power fluctuations aren't anything new. Not there yet. Is that the only one? This is a weird ending. Looks like these are final endings, and I won't have to play through Zach anymore. Oh my god. Every now and again this would happen, leaving a few tenants in a rather bad mood. Nothing unusual anymore after a few years of living here. But this time the sudden hush brings with it a stillness that raised the hair at the back of my neck and set my heart beating hard against my chest. Something reeks in the air, and in an instant this place is no longer home, it's a prison. Every rational fiber in my being screams at me to leave. I force myself to swallow and keep a clear head as I lay down all my cleaning tools and begin gathering together the rest of my things scattered about on the table. The camera's body, lenses, filters, diffuser, phone, anything my hand could reach, but in the resulting panic like the nightmares, it is the scent that reaches me first, a foul, putrid smell filling my lungs with heavy stink of death. My fingers clamp tightly to the camera, holding it closer to my body as if the tiny thing would provide enough protection to whatever is with me in the room. He better snap some photos. It won't, but it's the only comfort I have. He hears his mom's song. Oh! And knowing that whoever she is, she'd once been human. Perhaps not all of it is gone. Perhaps some of it is still there.
I know you're in here. What do you want?
Damn, Zach. Something moves behind me, a soft scuttling over the walls followed by the squelch and painful creaking of what can only be rotten flesh and broken bones. Oh my god! Without hesitation, I whirl around my fingers and camera ready, patiently waiting for another moment.
I can help you. Whatever it is that keeps you here, I can help.
Haha, we're right there.
That's what the letter's for, ain't it? You don't have to keep taking people's lives.
That's super disconcerting, just to have it all go quiet. There's a brief moment of silence, and after, for a short while, I think my pleas worked. Then, with no warning, the shuffling resumes, and along with it are sobs of a woman. What is this supposed to be? Oh my god. That got me. Light flashes fleetingly one last time, allowing me to glimpse her grotesque, misshapen features before it's once again lost in the darkness. All of a sudden, her tune changes, no longer a soft cry, but a high-pitched shriek brimming with pain, grief, and anger. Every ounce of courage I've mustered flees from my body at the sound, and the next thing I know, my hand is gripping the knob and I'm wrenching the door open. Her wails follow me as I flee into the night. God. Pacing has always been more of Ashton's thing than mine. Okay, I didn't die. I didn't die. That's good. I didn't. So a death would have been not finding her? When I want to think, I sit and let the minutes tick by until the idea comes to my mind and pulse settles down, and yet dried leaves and twigs crack under my shoes as I make another pass at them. Terror is too mild to describe what this is. There's no way in hell I'm going back. Whatever she is, pleading won't work. The moment we saw the letter, she's been after us.
I can't run. Not this time.
Well, you just did. Nearly 2 hours have gone by since I left the comfort of my room for the solitude of the park. 2 excruciating hours since I've started making calls. No one's answering. Not even Rebecca. Oh my god, it's my husband. Christian! You scared the shit out of me. Because I'm over here in a tense moment and all I hear is like crunching and creaking and it's you unlocking the door and I'm just freaking out. And it's all your fault. Oh my god. My heart just little... Oh. Not even Rebecca, who always has kept her phone line open in case other people need her. Or Isabella, who frequently checks hers for any messages and rarely responds as soon as she can. Maybe you should just keep running. It does not help that Ash hasn't said a word where he went off to as well.
I knew I should have asked him before I let him leave.
Knowing him, he can be anywhere, but there's really only one place he'll likely be at this time. At the mansion? What? Why? This is when he can die. I read that don't investigate the noise in the mansion or you die. Huh! Sun has already peeked over the horizon when I make it to the mansion. I have no idea what I'm expecting to see when I got here. And why is it also brighter when it was pretty, like, nighttime? It was 3 a.m. Maybe it's the morning now, because 5 a.m. 2 hours later makes sense. And there's Ashton, first and foremost. A part of me wishes my assumptions are correct and he's really somewhere close by on a stakeout, but I've never been the lucky sort when it comes to that kind of guessing. And even after I've made the round of the immediate vicinity, I could find neither hide nor hair of him. Calling him does no good either, considering how awful the signal here is. It can't be too far if he's really here, but if he is, he would have already noticed me by now. Instead, there's only silence, the kind too quiet to find any sort of comfort in. Even the trees seem to have fallen asleep with the rest of the mansion, oblivious to what's happening around it, a small island of stillness in the otherwise fast-paced world. No wonder the whole of Anselm feels at odds with the rest of Luxborn. While the city is alive, growing every minute, breathing every second, and pulsating with life, the village remains unmoving, unchanged. It's not surprising the legends still live up to this day, and why she's still here walking its hollowed halls, and beyond me the mansion looms ominously. But now ain't the time for fear. Even if Ash is not here, I've still got to let the Wrights know what I've seen, what's in their home, and whatever grievance Ash has with them, it doesn't matter. There might be grounds for imprisonment, but they don't deserve a brutal death at the hands of a malicious spirit, and I'm sure Isabella would want the same thing. Where am I? I got a little bit more to go to before I'm presented with a choice, it looks like. I head straight for the door without a second thought. It takes a few rings, the sound loud above the foreboding stillness before I hear footsteps on the other side.
Only a Nancy would knock at such an ungodly hour.
There.
Where's that damn butler when I need him?
Yeah, where is the butler? Before long, the door swings widely open with Mr. Luke Wright standing behind it. Is he okay? Why has he got this black aura? Seething would be a complete understatement to describe him. Like this, I've got no doubt why Ash would find him suspect.
You? How the hell did you get in here? What in seven hells do you want?
This poor
It's
guy.
bloody 6 in the morning.
This guy, he's got some things hooking onto him. It's a little bad.
Listen, sir, I know this is not a good time.
Oh, it's not a good time. Did you even check the clock before coming here? I bet you didn't. Unlike you, the ones living in this house need to sleep. Come back when people are actually awake, or I'll call security on you.
That's not that bad as he could have been. Before I can get a word in, he slams the door to my face and bolts it shut with much finality.
Wait, sir, you gotta hear me out. You're both in danger if you stay in there. Have you seen the news lately? Everything's not a coincidence.
Only silence answers me. Maybe if it was Miss Wright. Oh, who am I kidding? There are limits to how far a person will believe you. Then again, I didn't believe Isabella when she warned us, and now I'm here, desperately trying to save people, even if I'm aware it's completely out of my own capacity to do so. Is this what they call karma? If so, this is one horrible way of turning things around. Taking people's lives, playing with people's fears, and making them feel useless.
You're around, ain't you? You here? Inside this house? Listening, watching, or whatever it is that you spirits do? What did they do to you? I can help you, you know? If it'll let you move on, I'll gladly do so.
I feel like I heard the little for a second there. Oh boy, we are going through this fast.
You don't have to kill anyone.
Nothing. I don't even know who I'm talking to, or if it's a sane person that is supposed to be doing that. The only thing I got after is a feeling of foolishness washing over me, or perhaps this is just me losing my mind. Out of the other options and any other ideas, I let my hand slide off the door's surface and fall listlessly to my sides. I can go back to Luxborn, try to find the others, try to get out of this mess with them, or let them know how much in deep shit we all are. Both sound good. Either way, my loitering here ain't helping at all. I let the quietness calm me for a few more minutes before standing up and heading out to fetch my bike. It's quite a distance to Luxburn, but if I hurry, I'll reach it and maybe... Why did he bring his bike? The rustling stops as soon as I turn around and strain my ears for another movement around me.
Yo, Ash, you there?
No answer. If he is here, I've just missed him earlier. Already my feet are moving in search of him for a second time. It won't hurt to double check, triple check even. With how big the property is, he can be anywhere. If things ain't so urgent, if they ain't so dire that lives are at stake, it'd probably have just waited for him to show up
Damn
again.
it. He needs to realize what exactly it is he's dealing with.
What day is this? I don't know. Sunday is, Isn't this when they have the open party or whatever? When's the open party at? This was the open party. So if this is Sunday... So Friday they had the party. So this is Sunday. I could die, yeah. Oh god. That it is not just a petty criminal he can simply throw in jail, that it's something beyond the authority his police badge could ever give him. The guy needs to stop playing with the damn hero, sit down and chill. My breathing comes in short, shallow rasps by the time I make it back to where I started. Still no sign of him, and I'm beginning to think I'm just wasting my time here. But that's when I hear it. I'd recognize the melody in a heartbeat. Ma's favorite song. I listen for a while, trying to gauge where exactly it's coming from the house it's coming from. My feet starts to move before I can stop them, and there, as I circle a corner from a room in the first floor, a single window is open, but I can make out whoever's inside. However, I'm sure the singing comes from there. Still, why I'll hear an old tune here out of all places, I won't know. It's not an obscure song by all means, but it's pretty rare to find someone who knows it. And for some reason, death seems to follow the song around. Panic lodges itself in the base of my throat at once. Whoever's humming might be, I don't want to be a pessimist now, but on the off chance that it's Miss Wright.
Shit.
Oh, I heard that laugh. I shouldn't just barge in there. I can put myself in danger before I can save anyone. Ash will tell me those exact same words. Might even write me a dissertation of why it's a bad idea if he ain't so lazy. But damn it, god damn it. No. I kind of want to keep looking for Ash. Why would I go in the house? Mind your own business. Achievement unlocked. Ah! Am I gonna die? Is this a death? Oh my god. I'm glad I definitely saved, right? I did. Okay, I just need to remember I saved, and if I don't like it, I'm gonna come back and do it. In the end, the rational part of my brain wins out, and the half that has spent too much time around Ash. It's right, though, the reasonable part. If I do force my way in and find something unpleasant, how am I going to fight back with my camera? No matter where you look at it, that's simply asking for a painful
Have a
death.
better chance if I find Ash. Why is he snooping about?
You can still hear the weird laughing in the background. It's gross. Perhaps I should try the forest, make a round farther into the gardens? Not a sound plan, but it's better than nothing. The woman's soft sobs have subsided by some means. Them almost inaudible, to the point where I'm wondering if I truly heard what I heard. I didn't get to dwell much on it, though, because right in that moment my phone rings. The sharp notes piercing through the thick quietude? I clamp a hand over it, pressing the button before the speakers are close to my ear.
Where are you?
I only caught the tail end of the person's greeting on the other side, but I know the voice
What
well
was that,
enough.
Ash? Could you repeat that? Signal shitty here.
I asked, where are you?
Oh god, thank god our voice
Hell,
is good.
Zach, I've been calling your number for a good 20 minutes now. What kind of shithole did you get into?
Good morning to you, too. I should be asking you that question. I've been looking all over the mansion for you. I thought you'd be...
What mansion?
Do I really need to answer that?
Why are you even... No, wait. Just get your ass here at Isabella's place, and hurry.
I shift my gaze into the mansion, specifically at the window I heard the cries from. There is nothing of it now, not even echoes.
How urgent is this?
Pressing enough for you to stop asking questions and get yourself here. Please, Zach.
That gives me a pause. It's a rare thing for him to take on that
I'll
tone.
be there in a few. An hour or two, tops.
I can't believe he took his bike. He should have grabbed a taxi.
Thanks. I'll see you.
I rush back to my bike as soon as the call ends. Without another look, I leave the mansion along with its haunting melodies and grim echoes behind. There are more important things than my own curiosity and impulses. Journal? This is Sunday. Yeah, he could have died. ... So I'm not dead. Profile. I'll read her profile in a second. But I'm not dead. It's only 16% of Zach? Oh my god. There's so many other options that could have happened. I'm pretty sure this would have been death. Or maybe one of these was death and the other one not. I wonder what these two would have been. Oh my god, there's so much to this story. I can't even imagine. It's insane. Marianne, this is a short one too. Not as short as Hannah's, but pretty short. Maybe I can get through all of Marianne's tonight. Maybe. It's not that bad. Anyways, we need to look at her profile. Marianne, 5'11", Irish. Bachelor of Arts. Left in a dumpster as a baby. Oh. She was found by a peddler and spent most of her childhood roaming the countryside in a beat-up van. Her father taught her how to read, write, and prey, though in unconventional life it was all she knew. Child welfare and protection eventually caught on and required that she had a proper education. She was provided a scholarship to St. Samson School for young ladies and was bullied for being a charity kid. Marianne only had one friend and was mostly focused on her studies, intent on graduating and returning to her father, a shame that he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's soon after. Her work as an architect in Ireland lasted until the Irish economic crisis. She moved to England and after some time Luxbourne in search of a better career opportunities. So I wonder if what that Irish something thing is. Financial crisis was. So she's clearly into anime. And more anime here too. Look at that. That's a girl there in a chair. And the numbers are so little on the top of my screen, and they glare at me with such intensity that I can just hear their accusations. Let's see. Look at this pose. Dang, Marianne. I'm late for a night out with the girls, yes, but I have a perfectly good excuse. Geez. Considering I didn't follow my typical office hours, they really can't expect me to be able to just go as I please at 5:30 on the dot. The client is, first and foremost, my priority. I have to sit tight when my personal assistant, Chris, tells me we have a big one coming up and that I shouldn't miss this one. He knows a lot more about who's who and what's what when it comes to these socialites, and I trust that judgment call. I really don't have time for rich people, their drama, and their politics. Those sorts who were born with silver spoons in their mouths and who are used to wagging their silver tongues about, I let him handle the negotiating with them for the most part. Why else would I have hired him? But he told me I'd receive a message about it an hour ago.
If only he has the full shilling when it comes to the time.
Come on, I have a social life too, you know, to an extent. Sort of. Pressing my head against the table, I try to stave off an oncoming headache when a notification for an email pops up. And all I'm expecting is a, hey, this looks like a good project I found, go send them a design, or something like that. Really, that's how it often goes. Even with these rich, jammy clients who's heard of me from their equally rich, jammy friends, I can't expect them to hire me right off the bat. Which is all well and good and reasonable. We figure out what they want, send them my portfolio and my drafts for their projects, my rates, and hope for the best. This is a big client, Marianne. I'll babysit Bruithiel. I think that's how she said it. Her cat. Just please take this one project, I promise. This person is huge in Luxbourne. This email and any attachments are intended solely for the addressee. Blah, blah, blah. That's what I just read. Am I really reading that, what I can read here? Mr. Parker, this is a formal request to secure the services of Marianne McCulloch, hereinafter called the designer, as authorized by Hannah Wright, hereinafter called the client, for interior design work at Ermagerd Mansion, Luxbourne, LX18 ORF, United Kingdom. The client hopes to have the designer there on the 21st October, Friday, with the time pending. But as I open the mail and see that I've been requested by the client specifically, well, I certainly didn't expect that, and it's pretty straightforward, too. Anyone else would probably be excited. They would be working with the Hannah Wright. She's just one of those rich socialites that everyone loves to talk about, no matter how hard I try to tune out such nonsense. It would have been enough for me to reply an affirmative to Chris and leave, but he has never pleaded for me to take a project before. We've worked with big personalities in the past, celebrities, bankers, and even a few politicians. My PA had been indifferent about those. A personal assistant. I was like, what the heck is a PA? So the question bounced about my skull before I spy one of the email attachments. A newspaper clipping from the Luxbourne Daily Business News section boasting the headline, Wright Enterprise donates $2.5 million to refuge. At the grand opening of a new Wright Hotel last Wednesday, our local billionaire couple, Luke and Hannah Wright, announced a donation of $2.5 million, why'd I say billion, to help Luxbourne Refuge keep their services open. Unexpected but certainly welcome, this follows only a month after the couple's previous donation of the same amount to Save the Children UK. One of the largest donations, this amount will keep the safe house in Luxbourne open for several years. With this money, Refuge can keep helping women, children, and victims of domestic violence. There are rumors as well that charity talking with the couple and looking into building a local center equivalent to their Gaia and Athens locations. These rumors have come to us due to one of the Enterprise's employees mentioning Project EOS? EOS? Caused quite a stir. Why would that cause quite a stir? Apparently they had invented businessmen and socialites everywhere in the guise of it being some big business announcement.
$2.5 million and an expensive-looking party to boot. These people sure know how to throw their money around.
Why was that the talk of the town? They did something decent. Not that I should be so callous. They're going to be doing a lot of good and help a community of people with those pounds. Yeah, I, of all people, shouldn't criticize such acts, whether they were for show or not. At the very least, I know they'll be able to pay my rates. With the headline out of my way, however, I find myself staring at the picture that came along with the clipping. Because wow, here I am expecting a sour old woman in a blazer and skirt. But the woman that was plastered on the front page looks like she belongs to the front page of the entertainment section. Or even if I am to be crass, as a pinup for glamour. Okay, dang. Of a men's magazine. She sure knows how to rock that dress. Yeah, Marianne, you getting horny? Where's the horny bonk thing? Her hair, her eyes, her lips, she can't be her. At the same time, she is her, only several years older. She looks just like, I'm assuming, her friend that she had in school. No, come on, Mac, the world is full of pretty blondes. It's just a coincidence. So what day is this? This is before they met? Tuesday, yeah. Friday was when they meet up. With a shake of my head, I snap out of it and I reach for my phone when it buzzes, nearly falling off my chair in the process. Who else would be on the other line but the very people waiting for me?
Piss, I'm so sorry, Cam. I'm on my way.
That's what I say, yet I still don't move from my chair, face flushed and heart racing. I can only stare until I myself reply with that, yes, I'm accepting the assignment. And it takes even more time for me just to close the image, shut down the computer, and leave. Even then, it has already burned its image into my head, no matter how much I wish it would just disappear. Makes me eager for the alcohol and the company. Makes me eager for anything that can help me forget. It's a good thing that the nearest pub is just a hop, skip, and a jump from here. The Galway Shawl, as it is called by those who frequent the place, is the only decent Irish pub in this county. You can pretty much tell that someone is new if they call it by its official name, the Crawl Bar. My home away from home ever since I moved to Luxport. Well, that is when I'm not cooped up in my condo and working anyway. It has good alcohol, good company, and thank God, and St. Cecilia, good music. Crowd favorites like the Bothy Noise, the High Westland Men, and the Second Fusion Orchestra are often played. Not to mention the singing. I love singing. Anyone could just break out into a drinking song, and the others in the pub were just wonderful that they'd start singing along. And doing so while intoxicated is one of the best ways to go about it. Hey, it's a win-win as long as I don't puke in the middle of the chorus, and as long as I can get home in one piece at the end of the day. And tonight is karaoke night. What a better time to try and sing away all my worries. That's what my intoxicated brain tells me. She's already drinking?
The ghost of guilt and sorrow remembers who I am. And in the prison of my heart, I was my only slave.
Okay. But drinking only reminds me of my home, and the thought of home makes me think of her.
But in the depths of my cold soul,
no, she's not
the burden and despair.
But you can watch her. I don't know if I like her singing, not gonna lie. This is a little cringe. It makes me nauseous. Yeah, it makes me nauseous. I mean, what? It sickens me that the smallest reminder of her can cause me so much grief.
I'll fight for what's worth fighting for. Forget the fear, forget the rest.
Okay, of course that might just be the booze. Any other day I would have scolded myself for drinking so much.
I lied to the Lord.
Still going.
I lied to myself. I lied to you and everyone I care. Until there were no more lies to tell.
But I already have a client and we'll be having our first little meet and greet in a few days.
Cowardice is easier than being brave. But at last I found the strength I lost to sing my love letter to you.
She just keeps going, man.
'Cause people can lie, but my lone heart beats true.
I want to at least enjoy this night, get over the hangover tomorrow, and return to being a prim and proper professional later.
That song was for Cam, our lucky bride-to-be. So give her a hand, Galway Shawl.
Considering the state I'm in, one can excuse my smug grin as the cheers and applause rise among the pub's patrons. There's no way that they all clapped like this. Because possibly off-key public singing aside, I feel like I'm on top of the world right now, and that's a good reason as any to belt out in front of these strangers. With good drinks and good friends, there's nowhere else I'd rather be tonight, and I forget for a short while.
And that song was
Oh, they're
brought to you
cute.
by Marianne McCullough, everyone. A round of applause.
Her voice is really high-pitched. I don't like it, but I like how she's showing off her wedding ring in this picture. It's cute.
That was so good. You rock, Marianne.
Okay, hey, Hannah's voice actor.
Oh, please stop. You're just saying that.
You know neither of us can hold a tune, Marianne.
Is that supposed to be Isabella's voice actor?
A toast to our shameless drunk singer. May your drinks forever flow and your notes be ever lovely.
If anyone deserves a toast tonight, that's Cam. Finally sealed the deal after 3 years, eh?
Read 'em and weep, bitches.
Camilla's diamond engagement ring gleams as she holds it up for the world to see. She has reasons to be proud. 3 years of living together, and her boyfriend finally asked her the big question. 3 years of living together? Holy crap, that feels like forever.
Don't get too attached to that ring or the one after, sweetie. I was wearing a wedding ring not so long ago, and look at where I am. But enough of me being a downer. Cheers to a happy engagement!
That's definitely Isabella's voice actor. Of course, if something like Haruna's divorce were to happen, I'd be there for Cam, just as Cam had been there for me, acting more than just my yoga instructor. I can't be happier for my friend right now. She had a fling with Cam?
Cheers! Cheers.
Well, we both will be there for Cam, won't we, Haruna and I? Haruna, it's been a real bad year for her ever since her divorce. She's such a nice person, even loaning me money to open a studio. She didn't deserve what her husband had pulled. What did he do? I'm happy she's smiling again and pigging out like she used to. I think we've all missed our Japanese firecracker. We met in yoga class, something I had joined to keep myself in shape, and well, honestly said I can make friends when I moved to Luxburn. Clearly it worked like a charm, and it definitely didn't have anything to do with the fact that I brought along my lucky D20 die with me on the first day. No, sir. She's into D&D? Really? She's into D&D? So are these girls into D&D too?
What about you, Marianne? You're 30 years old and you still haven't got yourself a man.
And you guys know I have a very busy schedule. I don't have time for that.
I like how all their faces changed.
Oh, come on! That's a lame excuse and you know it! You need a man who'll take care of you and you need it now! Maybe some hunk will be your house hubby while you rake in the dough.
Fair.
I'm quite capable of taking care of myself. Who needs a Mr. Right?
Get it? A Mr. Right with a
Hey, look at me. I'm Marian McCullough, a lawful neutral cleric with 9 points in wisdom and 8 in charisma, but I can't get myself a date.
Oh my god, they really are into D&D. The nerds, I love it. I mentioned druids and demons once, and they don't even know the rules or understand what the numbers mean. And I am certainly not some sort of holy person. I'm a far cry from a miracle worker, and I barely have the willpower to fight off demons, especially my own.
Actually, maybe she isn't looking for a Mr. Right, but a Mrs. Right.
That's a fair statement to make.
Oh, my Marianne, we still love you even if you're in the closet.
Is she, though?
That would explain some things. Haruna, you don't have a ring anymore. Maybe you two can be together and I don't have to worry about my best girls being alone.
Fair.
What are you on about? There's nothing to explain.
But the more I deny, the louder they tease until the other people in the pub start to watch. It doesn't help at all when Haruna drapes her arm over my shoulders and leans
Will I
in.
be all yours then? Will you be making me feel like a woman?
Oh my. I know that they're just kidding around, but this doesn't make me comfortable in the slightest. So when Camilla notices my silence and Haruna sees the expression on my face, they stop. And when the awkward air settles over us, the rest of the pub goes back to whatever they were doing before the whole thing ever happened. They probably won't even remember it when they wake up with massive hangovers.
Sorry.
Anyway.
Me too.
Hey, no hard feelings, right?
I raise my glass, they smile, we drink. There's no need to say more. We're all definitely far too drunk tonight. Eventually the fun times end. It's a weekday after all. And with Haruna being a nurse, she still has to get ready for her next shift. Cam also has a loving fiance waiting for her at home and really didn't have to make a fuss about having left some buns in the oven when she took off early. Really, I understand. I was the one who insisted, who was determined to get pissed drunk anyway. Moving to the bar, I sit, alone at last. Alone with a Mr. Right. I haven't seen him before, obviously not a regular, and he hasn't said a word and just sits there savoring his drink. With his whiskey served neat in one hand and lighter in the other, it doesn't seem like he's noticed me yet, and maybe I should go before he does look my way. Because he was pretty, and he was blonde, and those two things plus alcohol never did me any good. I thought too late. Judging by the way his flushed face and dazed look in his eyes, he's as pissed drunk as I am. But whereas I feel like kneeling over, he looks like he's ready to take the catwalk by storm. Really, he just had the air of one of those men who think they own the world.
Hello there, sexy.
Oh my.
Please don't stand up on my account. I already like what I see.
What an accent was that? That was a weird accent that had just popped up.
Fancy a drink? It'll be on me.
But then again, I might be pleasantly surprised if he proves me wrong.
Want some between the sheets? Sex on the beach? I'm talking cocktails, of course.
Wow, he really gets British when he's drunk. Fat chance, but it doesn't matter. We both know how to play this game. And there are two different ways for the night to end. One thing or another is going to happen. The question is, what do I want to do?
That's fine. I'd rather order some blue balls or some AMF if you don't mind.
AMF. Looks like he's about to say some witty retort, but stops himself and downs the rest of his whiskey. I order a mint julep and he gets another whiskey and we start the customary small talk. Of course, the saying, ask me no questions and I'll tell you no lies, goes without saying. We ask nothing about each other, offering up falsehoods to establish a strenuous fake connection between two strangers at a pub, if only to pass the time. Whiskey, as I have come to call him, is supposedly 21 years old. That's a lie. Single, takes care of his sick mother, and is a manager of some sort. Manager of what? I didn't care to listen to the details. Meanwhile, Mint, as he came to call me, is 29, and I'm, what did I say again? She picked 29 instead of 30. It's not that big of a difference. Oh yes, I told him I was a professional chocolate taster. I was about to say cocktail taster. Because fuck it, if I'm going to lie about what my job is, might as well make it fun. It's a pretty decent chat between two pretty drunk strangers. And maybe it's just me, but we might as fucking well expend the tiniest amount of effort in pretending there's something meaningful in this meeting. Would have been nice too if it was left just at that. But during a lull in the conversation, he brings it up.
No? I've never been with a woman taller than me.
Who says that? And to think he might have been different from the rest. No. Not when they're like this.
Never have and never will, whiskey. Can we go back to the history of chocolates? Did you know that chocolate candy was introduced in 19th century England as a healthier alternative to alcohol?
Fair. St. Lucy was the most beautiful woman of her time. She had men come from the four corners of the world just to see the pure light of her exquisite green eyes. If she were so lucky, anyway.
No, enough of the history lesson.
Oh my god.
Come on, Mint. You know and I know what you came here for.
Actually, you don't know that. Though not every suitor was gallant, and she was no fool, she had known that sooner or later she wouldn't be able to defend her chastity.
Come on. There must be something that gets you going.
Oh my. Do I get to choose? Can I say no? I want to say no. So she had taken out a knife and gouged out her own eyes. Oh my god.
There is something, but I don't think you can handle it.
Impressed with her devotion, God restored her eyes and made them more beautiful than before. He has a peculiar sense of humor, hasn't he? Because that only meant suitors kept going after Lucy, and she kept her eyes in a chalice to scare them away.
I'm pretty sure I can handle whatever it is.
Why is she thinking about St. Lucy right now? Help me turn away from sin. Help me with my own blindness.
My place isn't too far from here. I won't take care of you if it ends up being too much for you. And no one will be able to hear you if you try to scream.
Oh my god.
You sure you want to go down that road, pretty boy?
Wouldn't have it any other way.
I wanted to say no. ... Journal? Branching tree? Give me a decision! Let me kick him out. The best thing about having my condo so close to the pub is ease of access. As long as I can still stand and walk, I can make it home. Maybe I'd need help with a kind stranger or neighbor or two to help me with the last leg if I've really gone overboard on the alcohol. But I always made it home. Sometimes with company, like tonight. Of course, that always comes with complications, especially the real clingy ones. But it isn't anything a good tip about stalkers to the building security can fix. I'm always nervous though, even if it isn't the first time I've done this. And the first few minutes when we enter my room are the first few agonizing minutes where I try not to panic. Okay, Max, so far so good. Don't let him smell your fear under the liquid courage. He'll leave sooner or later, and I'll never have to see him again, just like every other man before him. I'd like to say to myself that the men I've brought to my place were more scared than I was. Yet there is no fear when I look into Whiskey's eyes, only delight. When he starts touching me, I don't even hesitate when I push him against the door. Roughness is to be expected. And as long as he sticks to the script, everything will go smoothly. We'll have our little tumble in the sheets, he'll leave, and we'll forget. If somebody asked what I really wanted, I would have told them that I wanted a bed of roses, chocolates, and music, and maybe an Irish castle. But all I really want is her, and that's never going to be a reality. That was my fault, of course, because I was afraid, because I was a coward. They would never hold a candle up to her. She was the light of my life, and I had let her go. I can't even be bothered at the thought of her. Just the single thought of her makes my resolve to see this affair through waver.
Wait.
What is it now?
Let me kick him out. I want to kick him out. Yes. Yes, saving.
We're both drunk.
Wow, that went up. You better actually leave, though.
And?
This is wrong.
Wait, is he finally... How do I don't know. Right there. They're about the same level right now.
Don't you think it's a bit fucked up that we're about to have sex and we're just calling each other by the drinks that we had?
Yeah.
How messed up are we?
Doll, shut up with the ethics and morality talk. It is seriously putting me out of the mood.
Good.
If you want to leave now, Whiskey, I understand. I mean, with how smashed you are, it'd probably be best for you to sleep the night unless you want to be mugged. But I won't stop you. And this isn't going to happen.
Bloody hell.
Cock blocked achievement unlocked. Oh my god, game. Of course, he's annoyed at me for putting off our night of sexual congress. But no means no, and beyond spewing a few profanities under his breath, he surprisingly simmers down soon enough. I was worried for a moment that he might try to force something. Instead, he makes a show of fixing his suit and smoothing down his hair before making himself comfortable at the nearest seat he could
What
find.
are you doing then? You have a guest in your home. Put the damn kettle on.
Wow, he turned around into making her a servant real quick.
Dandelion tea if you have it. But I suppose all you have are those shitty tea bags from the store.
If it isn't for the absurdity of the turn of events, I would have flipped him off for thinking I have no taste. But in the end, I just laugh. All I got are cans of Korean ginseng and lemon balm, though, no dandelion. Without a second thought, I do wet the tea. That's 3 minutes in a kettle to boil. 3 minutes where we say nothing to each other. I mean, what do you even say to the guy I was going to sleep with until I changed my mind? I doubt he's in the mood to talk about influence of Troy's on Milroy, and it's still unusual by the time we're both seated on my bed with mugs of tea in hand.
Just so you know, whatever is going on right now is a lot stranger and fucked up than the one night stand.
I don't think so.
We are two messed up individuals by your logic.
Yes.
Everything is messed up, if you ask me. War, terrorism, famine, poverty, loved ones and loved lost. Oh,
Terrorism?
this whole world is a cesspool.
The dead air is telling when it fills the room once more. One would think that this is the perfect time to burst, to spill whatever issue made us fucked up person that we are today, and it is, but I guess some part of me would rather not put the weight of my problems on somebody else's shoulder. It wouldn't be fair to leave that to a person when I don't even know if we'll ever see each other again. Sooner rather than later, we both passed out on my bed, mugs left forgotten on the floor. ... When I wake, whiskey is gone. Thanks for the tea, Marianne. Whiskey with painkiller. Did he buy them? Or did he just pull them out of her cabinet? I don't even question where these are from or how he knew my real name. Yeah, how did he... So they're not her pills. This is a little creepy. Is he a drug dealer on the side, too? I'm just grateful for something to help with the hangover. I hope it had, like, take 2 or 3, because it looked like there was no label on it. I have a job to do. Saturday, so we're skipping over the day they met. Tea. Yeah, Friday is when they met at the open house. It isn't often that I think about drinking on the job, but after meeting with the Wrights yesterday, it really makes me want to break my self-imposed rules, because first off, fucking damn Whiskey was fucking damn Mr. Wright, literally. And to top it all off, they had somehow forgotten to inform me that they didn't own the Ermengarde mansion, yet when they hired me. What sort of person does that?
Rich people.
I agree. I could do nothing but twiddle my thumbs at this, however, twiddle my thumbs and wait for the go signal. It's not like I can accept other smaller projects. This is a big job and I should be ready to start it at any time. Not to mention that my personal assistant practically begged me to be patient and wait this one out. It was a hard decision to agree, but I did so in the end. Besides, I'm doing this for the Ermengarde mansion, not for anything or anyone else. I'd have a headache whatever I do anyway. I'd go to the pub again, but seeing what happened a few days ago, I'd rather not end up in bed with another potential client. And it might be a huge leap in logic, but a library is the next best thing after a pub. I have to go there anyway. I need more books for Dad. Plus, I also need to return the ones I borrowed last time. Finding a new book or two to read for myself while I have nothing to do isn't such a bad idea either. So on a Saturday morning, I find myself going to the library, the only library in Luxborn, to hopefully cool off. Everyone seems to love coming to the library, I've noticed. Holy crap, we've hardly gotten through anything, Marianne. You just talk forever. After returning the Ruzel and the poetry book of Henry of Podbrady, I asked the librarian about several titles on my list, though I don't have much luck on that front. Dialogue with Death has already been snatched, and she bluntly said that she did not keep our mathematical universe for someone who didn't return books on time. I make headway, at least, when I ask about Siege and Redemption of Havana by Jacob de... What are these names? If you count her snarling and pointing at the history section as headway, that is. The history section is devoid of any other person except for myself and a redhead, though I guess that Red's just passing by to get the classical literature section. So many books, so little time. Scanning the books and seeing so many wonderful titles gives me great pleasure, and that's when I spot it.
Sailor. Why don't you come to Mama?
It's not the naval battle book I was looking for. No, it's even better. The newly acquired History of Luxborn Architecture, first edition, too. I know I just have to get it. I've been waiting to get my hands on the book for so long. The fact that there is only one copy proves to be a problem, though, when Red reaches out for it at the same time as I do.
I had this first, miss.
I thought her hair was more pink than red. What is my relationship with Rebecca? Not that good. I can only stare her down when she refuses to let go of the book. Refusing to let go of it as well, I raise a brow at her in hopes that the fact that I was significantly taller and would intimidate the girl. Even then, she refused with a rebellious look.
This isn't exactly light reading, miss. I mean, do you even know which architect was at the forefront of 18th century Irish architecture?
A beat. She blinks and I can't help but smirk on my face, which is wiped off when she opens her mouth.
Edward Lovett Pierce, who established the Palladian style through his work with Castletown House and the Irish Houses of Parliament.
Dang.
This bridge was destroyed in this year to delay French troops while under the regency of Mary of Guise.
This is not what I was expecting. Let's be honest, how many people would know these history facts? Aside from me, anyway.
Going right to the obscure ones, aren't you?
You know, I kind of ship it if Marianne and Rebecca here could get together, but I don't think that's a possibility.
Easy enough. Tullybody Old Bridge in Clackmannanshire, Scotland, on the January of 1560, if we want to be specific.
Suddenly it's a game where we throw these history questions and facts at each other, back and forth in hushed tones unless they want to be thrown out of the library. After a while, it goes from some strange competition into the strange but friendly banter, if it could be called that. But as fun as it is, the exchange soon slows down until we're grinning at how odd the whole scene
Marianne
is.
McCulloch, my desire for potatoes doesn't quite match what the stereotypes suggest.
Desire for potatoes.
Rebecca Gales, the Scots' supposed hatred for the English wasn't enough to stop me from teaching their little spawns.
Wow. By then we had forgotten about our little tug-of-war, though she still holds the book. I had let go of it without realizing when she answered my first
History
question.
teacher, then?
Got it in one.
No wonder you gave me a run for my money. Now, if we're talking about architecture, I'd blow you out of the water. You're from where? Luxburn Uni?
Oh no, just St. Goretti's.
Ah yes, Saint Goretti. You'd think a school would choose a more appropriate saint to name themselves after, especially when they have very young students. What is with Saint Goretti?
And I'm guessing you're an architect, if you're so confident about the subject.
Interior designer, Miss Gales.
Please, just call me Rebecca. You aren't one of my students, are you?
Marianne, then.
I could have said that I was an architect, but there's no point in explaining why I wasn't one anymore.
So, I've never seen you before. I'd like to think I've met every history aficionado in town.
I blame the rock I've been hiding under, of course. That, and I'm usually only here on the weekdays if time allows. Work often has me meeting clients on the weekends.
That must be interesting work.
It allows for some creative freedom, sure, but it's like working with children sometimes.
Yeah.
Though you probably have it harder working with actual children. The hardest part is convincing them that your idea is their idea.
That sounds exciting.
It is!
But isn't that true for any workplace, though?
Yeah.
We just cross our fingers and hope there aren't any man-children in charge of important things. Any big projects right now? I can't imagine that interior designing is a frequent thing.
I mean, it could
I'm
be.
working on the Ermengarde mansion.
Oh my god.
Lucky me. That mansion. Intach. Wonderful. Breathtaking. I can't wait to start in it. Now that is beautiful architecture.
A pause. It looks like she wanted to say something at the mention of the house. I'm not surprised. That place is certainly popular with the locals, especially with the urban legends attached to it. And the next second, though, she seems to think better of it and drops what she's about to say.
So, do you have a portfolio or anything I can take a look at? I'd love to see your designs. Maybe you have some on a tablet. I've met some designers before, and they're always going crazy over these virtual room apps or another.
A tablet? Please. Callicrates didn't need those silly eye tabs when he built the Parthenon.
True.
I certainly don't need one to design a house.
The computer back at my place is all I have. Why should I buy an expensive gadget that will just get outdated within the year when what I have is functional? The traditional ways have had far more personal touch in my opinion, not to mention those smartphones are awful tools of procrastination, yeah. I can't even count on one hand the number of people I see going outside only to have their eyes glued to the things. And fuck touchscreens. They're evil things that make typing what should have been a simple task harder.
I do have an online portfolio if you'd like. I can...
Speaking or thinking of the dumbbells seems to have summoned it because before I can even carry on, Rebecca's attention wanes and she pulls out her mobile. From what I can assume, it's a call. She gives me an apologetic look before standing up and excusing herself. Off farther to the aisle she goes for some privacy. I do my best to give it to her as well, trying to tune her out.
Belle, is something wrong? Lunch at the coffee house? Sure, I can make it. I'm not too far. I can be there in 10.
This is before Isabella says that she doesn't need to eat ramen. With how quiet the surrounding is, she can't blame me if I overheard snippets of her conversation. When she returns with the sheepish look on her face, I know that our friendly chat has been cut
Sorry,
short.
I have to go and meet with some friends.
It's fine. Totally fine. No need to even apologize.
About the book.
Her embarrassment increases twofold when she realizes she's still holding onto a history of Luxborn architecture. I don't give her time to think about it as I put up my hand and shake my head, fishing out a pen and paper from my bag along with one of my business cards, and I hand them over to her.
You know, I'm busy with work, so I might not even be able to take a peek at it anytime soon. You can go ahead and have it.
It's not like she's gonna have it forever.
But you'll have to ring me up when you're returning it just so I can snag it right away. Deal?
She makes quick work, penning her number down and handing it back to me with a grin.
Deal. Just message me during school hours, of course. You have a good day then.
You too.
With Rebecca gone, I'm left alone standing in the history section. Although my original plans were to simply sit down and read a good book, our little pop quiz, if you could call it that, made the time pass by without any of us even realizing it. It was fun, and I do believe I made a new friend. Good job, Marianne. That's exactly how adults feel when they try to make new friends. Good job, I did it. Even with the talk of lunch, however, I don't feel like grabbing a bite to eat. There are still other books to be read here, and I'm hoping to find something that will help me when I work with the rights. Something like How to Deal with Ourselves Professionally 101, just in case. I've dealt with a lot of uppity, snooty, and rich clients before, but it's still better to be safe than sorry. Because Luke Wright just takes the fucking cake. And he probably manages to eat it, too. It seems the world is conspiring to keep me from my me time, as the mobile vibrates in my pockets in the moment I find something from the shelves of the classic literature section.
Marianne McCulloch, Charlie Rose Design speaking.
Hey, Rose.
Rose Cooper here, Miss McCullough. I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time or anything.
This is like 2 days before Rose
But
dies.
I just wanted to check in and tell you that we've got the clear to hand over the documents. Madam Wright told us that we should forward the floor plans to you.
Already? How did they go through the process so fast? Surely there is so many red tape to even acquire the forms and the transferring of rights. No matter how rich the rights are, it shouldn't be this quick, right?
So, if I can just have your email, I'll be sending them your way.
I'd actually like a physical copy of the floor plans.
Oh, I suppose that's fine. I'm not at the office right now, but I can inform Miss Santos of your request.
Why doesn't she just accept the email and then print it out herself? She is at the library. They have printers.
I'll make sure to drop by the office after lunch if that's fine.
Not a problem. Right. Well, cheers.
Right. Cheers.
I don't know, I just don't. Is there some sort of deeper miscommunication when we last met? These things take time. It's been, what, a day? Less than that, even. There isn't even a point in trying to make sense of these people who seem to be larger than life. As it looks like I'm on the clock starting today, I might as well eat. This is... Oh, no, we're not here. We're here. That's a cute drawing. Oh, that's when they see that. In the mirror. Oh, wait, what's this? Oh, they meet with the professor tomorrow. Okay. And that's, okay, that's the paperwork. Got it. I'm just trying to keep the timeline right in my head. Grabbing some fish and chips, of course, because they're in England. From one of the street food stalls, I find a table to spend time with a copy of Marquise de Sade's The Crime of Love, since Rebecca left the book I wanted. I've read this one before, along with the rest of his works. This would be the 18th time, in fact. Oh my god, that's a lot of rereads. But it's always nice to read through it again when I don't have the time to enjoy something new. Besides, when you're dealing with people so filthy rich that they just end up in plain filthy, you need to get the good old Marquise's sound advice.
Se trouvant sans aucune sorte de conséquence.
Something about consequences. The wound being without any consequence. Thank you for translating. Of course, it's folly to think that things have no consequence when everything actually does. Briar Realty Corporation, Luxbourne's branch, isn't too far off from the city center, just a few blocks away, and I can easily eat and walk. I'd rather use this time to rest before I go into a flurry of activity, no doubt. There will be so much to do once we get hands on the mansion.
Still a lot better than working on another condo, at least.
Yeah. Surely, no matter how much BRC and the old owners put into the restoration and preservation of the place, any big repairs would be superficial at most. I'm quite certain that in their haste to sell the property, they did a rush job. It isn't any infrequent thing to do, despite how frowned upon it is. There will be a lot of hidden issues that I'll need to weed out, and I'll have to make sure I find every single one of them, especially the more serious damages. Structural integrity is definitely top of the list we will have to consider. The building might look sturdy, but it is centuries old. That alone will likely pose a few problems here and there, put limitations on what we can do. Besides, despite how much I detest these rich snobs, they can pay rather handsomely, so long as I do an excellent job and do more than necessary. Those two things always make sure that the referrals keep coming and I don't even have to hunt down projects for myself. Oh, so we actually went to the office. My bad. Not what I wanted to click on. I want to click on this. Where are we? We've barely made it here. Marianne, you take your sweet time. Marianne. When I do go up to BRC's office, I can't help but stop and stare when I enter the building. With the lunch hour closing, employees should have been back already if they still aren't filtering through the doors. I get that it's Saturday, that people probably feel tired and lazy to be working on a weekend, but they're still on the clock and not bumming about wasting company time on extended lunch breaks and cigarette sessions. But it's because like half of them are dead. But you know, the office is spacious, as it is with these big corporations. Each person is given their little space of what usually a 2 by 2 meter cubicle. There's a lot more empty chairs than actual people working at their desks. It reminds me far too much of my last day at the Porkova projects during the massive layoffs due to the Irish economic crisis. But it isn't just that, though. Everything is as quiet as a grave. It's as if these people are merely ghosts. Speaking of ghosts, Santos comes through the door looking as if she's just seen one. Okay, so we did go back and give her the plans then. I was wondering because it skipped over that during Isabella's section. She looks at me wide-eyed like a deer caught in headlights, ready to bolt at any moment. I'd ask out of concern, but I feel it's not my position to do so. What if it's something personal? I'd simply be overstepping my boundaries. Really, it's none of my business.
I presume that Miss Cooper told you why I'm here, Miss Santos?
What the difference would be here?
Huh?
What would the difference be?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I just got back from lunch, you know? But it won't take too long. Don't worry.
Wait, what? Why am I so friendly with Isabella? Oh, it's because we talked about our cat. We didn't talk about our cat until later. Tomorrow. So this shouldn't be that friendly yet, but okay.
Of course it won't. This whole project has established itself to be a matter done in haste.
Yes.
I do hope it doesn't mean that people are being careless in their duties.
Wow, why is she so rude? She flinches and looks like she doesn't quite know how to respond to that. I don't know how to respond to that. Thankfully, instead of opening her mouth, she leads the way towards her station and goes to fetch the floor pans. It won't take too long, as she said, but it does take a bit. Time spent to compose herself, most likely.
We usually just email these things.
Yeah.
I prefer the real thing.
Not that you would know. You probably have your nose stuck in the front of a smartphone when you're not working, and even when you should be working, playing those mindless, addictive games. Oh my god, Marianne is so judgmental. It's suffocating. I definitely wish Chris would stop playing that Bat-Cat thingy during work hours, too. Wait, there's a game called Bat-Cat, and Bat-Cat is what Isabella named her stuffed animal. That's a bat and a cat.
I know what you mean. Digital painting is nice, but nothing beats the smell of real paint. Not that I go and smell paint like a crazy person, but you know, the real thing is different.
Sniff that paint. Wait, what?
Yes, nothing is quite like the real thing.
Oh my. Checking out the floor plans, I see that I'll have a lot going for me. Now I know how Ray felt when he found the Central Park West building floor plans from that one movie. Okay, so there are 2 attics. Why were they both beds? Were they supposed to be both for, like, servants or something? So porch foyer, and the parlor, and a mini bar with 2 restrooms. That's actually kind of cool. And the dining hall is on the other side with the kitchen, the gallery, the music room. That must have been the ballroom that they call it. So it doesn't have on the floor plans the wine cellar, but there's a basement here, so the wine cellar must be there. See, why would there be 2 attics for extra rooms if they have a servant's quarters here? I would make this into a guest room. But, oh, the ballroom is here. So there's a separate ballroom and music room. That's weird. Okay. Upstairs, another balcony, hallway. That's a lot of wasted space. There's a theater and a conference room? Holy crap. Quarters. What's the difference between master's bedroom and quarters? Why is the bathroom so small? They should have made this the bathroom. Study room. They said they went into the study to discuss things earlier. So is this really the room they went in to study? Interesting. Oh, there is a wine cellar there. Okay. Okay. And then the second bedroom here. So there really is only 2 bedrooms. That's such a long way apart. Like, I would have made the conference room a bedroom. Why is there another separate staircase here that's not down here? Okay, that's weird. Where does that staircase go? Oh, it must go up to the attic. Okay, fair. And again, this is such a waste of space. They could have cut this hallway in half and put more rooms in here. I do appreciate the theater, though. But again, they could put another bedroom here. And this could be a baby's room. Or the bathroom could have been bigger. Interesting. This is why I became an architect in the first place. Jacobean style at its finest, it's a thing of beauty. Look at these gorgeous rooms, the delicate harmony between empty spaces. And speaking of empty spaces, there's something rather odd about these ones.
I feel a bit silly saying it out loud because I've never lived in a big house, let alone a mansion. But during the tour, I had the distinct impression that the rooms were bigger.
Yeah.
Maybe the scale is wrong? It's not much of a problem. And it is an old house.
There had been little details here and there that I would have liked to address during the open house too, but it was all forgotten in the wake of Miss Santo's incident and the trouble with the ownership. Wine cellar is going to be a problem. I should have to think of what kind of repairs they did to the place. There might have been that things swept under the rug, pushed in the dark corner of the room, and hidden away in barrels. Water damage could have been covered up. There had been floods due to heavy rains in West England just last year, after all, and if there's any sort of damage to the house's foundation, that's going to be a lot of work. I was not able to look at the attic as well. For all I know, the whole family of vermin could have made their nests in there. Working with pest control is always the worst. They're not that bad. The sheer size of the place is staggering, even if I did just say it's a lot smaller than I thought. I might just be biting off more than I can chew, but who doesn't like a good challenge? First things first, I'll have to...
So, do you want a coffee? The one from the staff room is pretty decent.
There's really no need. I'm sure you have rules against it.
Why would they have rules against giving people they're working with coffee? That makes no sense.
Rules against bringing someone coffee?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And even if there were regulations against it, nobody's really here to tell Sir John.
Thank you, Isabella, for literally speaking my thoughts.
I've already brought 2 mugs, and I'm not going to drink them on my own. Come on.
I just stamped down my annoyance at being distracted. Seeing the girl, the young woman, though, it looks like she has a lot on her mind. If babbling is her way of dealing with stray thoughts, it's not really the one she should be babbling to. We're gonna be friendly because we're both artists, and Marianne's just a very annoying woman. Because she doesn't like to talk to people. Good, that went up. I give her time to speak up. But when she just stares, I clear my throat.
You have something to say?
Like Marianne made friends with Rebecca, she can make friends with Isabella. As embarrassment creeps up in her face, I snatch one of the coffees from her and take a sip. Too hot.
Just thinking and speaking off the record, it must be fun what you do. You go to people's houses and you make them, well, pretty. You're sharing your art with them.
It's a little bit more complex than that. But if you put it that way, it is fun. I wouldn't have done it for 7 years if it wasn't a little bit fun, I guess.
These big clients always have paintings in their homes. Do you have a supplier for art pieces?
Oh, that's what Isabella's in. No wonder the next day she goes and buys art supplies. I didn't expect to hear such a question from her, seeing how well she handled herself yesterday. I didn't doubt then why she was assigned to an important sale like the Ermengarde Mansion. Oh my god, despite the little accident she had. Now she just looks too young, too nervous and unsure of herself, although her enthusiasm must make up for that in spades. In fact, I wouldn't have believed it if she introduced herself the way she is at the moment. Why, watching her now, she actually looks like she should still be in college. Acts a bit like it too when I think about it. I thought she was a teen, slumming it out in the mansion when I first saw her there, lying on the ground. Surprise, surprise, she turned out to be one of the real estate agents handling the property. I don't even know what to make of the whole meltdown that happened with that strange document. If I were a client, I would have been very upset, and she'd be in hot water for
Clients
it.
usually support artists of their own choice.
The clients, as in the rights, basically? That would make sense. But what if somebody didn't have any particular want?
If they
And
don't,
then-
I'm always happy to refer those that I know.
Yeah, that. Refer. I'm sure they'd probably ask her sometimes, like, hey, who do you like? What's a good artist?
That's cool.
That's cool.
They're very picky. I don't think a hobbyist will have an easy time getting their work sold.
Thanks.
Hey, I'll have you know I was a student of the fine arts.
And yet, here you are, selling property. Maybe you weren't a very fine student of the arts.
Marianne is so rude. Maybe I took that a bit too far. Yeah, you did. No wonder you're not with your childhood crush, because God, Marianne, you're rude. She bites her cheek, and it looks like she's barely holding herself
It's not
back.
like I had a choice.
She mutters it under her breath, and I barely even hear it. But the hurt is there, and it makes me wonder what brought it on. Although it is understandable if her reason's what I think it is, very few people make it big in the art world. I can see why she'd be upset about it with that enthusiasm. I didn't have a choice when I left Ireland, and that was years of unemployment. The recession... It was that or years of unemployment. The recession and the toll it took on the construction industry was out of anyone's control. I don't know what choice she wasn't able to make, whether it was about her being at art school or something else, but the world isn't a fair place. And the sooner she accepts it, the better. Jesus, Marianne. Can you be like a little bit positive somewhere in your life? Still, with the forlorn look on her face, I can't help but sigh. The girl reminds me far too much of myself when I was younger.
Well, if you're thinking of commissioning your paintings, I'll have to see your work first.
Oh, it's not... I didn't mean it like that. I don't have any paintings.
Really? You sounded a lot like you still did art or want to.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to worry that you might just like the smell of paint.
Everyone likes the smell of paint and Sharpies.
I'm not a paint huffer, sheesh.
Paint huffer.
I just mean I don't make much anymore. I don't really have the time for it. The tools and materials aren't exactly cheap either.
Everything has a price. It sounds like you're making excuses for something you're presumably passionate about.
Wow.
If you really want to practice art, a little out of your wallet isn't much.
It's not that simple.
It's not? Life's simple. People just like to make it complex. Speaking off the record,
That's
I
fair.
have some advice for you, kid. Either go for what you want, or stop thinking about it when you have something else. That is unless you enjoy making yourself miserable, then by all means.
You know, if you wanted to look at the floor plans without me bothering you, you could have just said so.
That's true.
Would you have left me alone?
We'll never know now, will we?
The sass here between the two of them. A strained air settles in the room afterwards. That's not what I wanted to click on. I wanted to click on this. The floor plans. I'm glad I can keep the picture of it. Where is it? I don't know what's new. It doesn't help that she doesn't immediately leave as she had said, lingering awkwardly by the door with the downcast expression. It's clear that there's more she means to say, perhaps even to defend herself and her choices in life. Where is the picture? Treated her friends to lunch. Oh, it's this, isn't it? Oh. Or is she expecting me to dish out more of that advice? It's an awkward affair that I choose to hightail out of the realty office as quickly as I can. Oh, I've never seen it at night yet. It's so pretty. Though I'm able to keep myself professional at all times does not mean I like it. And seeing that most of the day has already gone before I realized it, I choose to head back to my flat instead, despite today being a Saturday. No fun, but at least this way I can definitely avoid another unpleasant encounter. Considering how much I'll be seeing whiskey in the near foreseeable future, I have a feeling I'll need the rest of the weekend it can give me. But for the first time in a long while, excited as I am to work on the mansion, I cannot wait to be over and done with this project. Monday. Monday couldn't come any sooner. After taking the floor plans from Miss Santos the day before last, I spent most of my Sunday drawing up plans and calling in my suppliers. Although no design choices had been made yet, I'm quite sure that they'd want high-end appliances, the most expensive materials, and most pretentious everything. They usually did, these rich types, based on experience at least. Given how badly this whole thing started, it wouldn't hurt to be prepared. I had to check myself to make sure I'm not playing with my gloves as one of the other building tenants takes the elevator up with me. It makes me self-conscious when the woman's eyes go over me, and I'm sure she was going to point out some perceived flaw in my physical appearance. But I'm saved from being paranoid when they went off a few floors later. Still, the ride up to my floor is nerve-wracking. The Wrights lived at the very top, the penthouse, the creme de la creme when it comes to condominium and urban living. Just getting access to this place is an ordeal of its own. I had to jump so many hoops, so many security checks, just to secure a key card. Not only because of the building management, but because of the Wrights' personal security. It sometimes felt like I'm being interrogated for a crime and not visiting a client at their home. Even when their personal assistant called to help me out and verify my presence, the process is aggravated rather than hastened. Speaking of the devil, Johans! So we're on Monday? Monday. This is when she could have died. Okay. The elevator door opens and I'm greeted by none other than Whiskey's not-so-little lackey. So this is the day after Rose died.
I do apologize if I kept Mr. and Mrs. Wright waiting, but I'm here now and I'm ready, so if I may, where are they?
They've just woken up, but they should be down soon. I'm surprised to see you made it through security. And only 5 minutes late.
You said I'd be through security soon, and it took half an hour.
Oh my god.
Define soon in this context.
I'd make myself comfortable if I were you. I'm going to go and put the kettle on.
You didn't answer my question.
About the tea, I don't want to intrude or anything.
The sir does not like being woken up by the whistling. But who am I to deny tea to a guest?
He shows me to the couch before drifting off towards the kitchen, quietly pulling out a teapot, cups, and all other sorts of things in preparation for tea. I ignore the animosity towards his employer that his words implied. I wouldn't be surprised if Whiskey's own people don't like him. Accepting the quiet isolation instead, I brace myself for what's to come. In this case, soon apparently means more than 5 minutes, or even 10. I sit in their living room just waiting. And when the kettle starts whistling and the tea has been served, I continue to wait. At least the silence is relaxing. But then there's a crash. What the heck was that? And I nearly spilled tea all over my lap in surprise, and I look up expecting security to come running. Even the man in the kitchen counter continues to fix breakfast like he heard nothing. I don't want to speak up about it because he looks far too absorbed in his cooking, and I don't want to be the cause of burnt food or worse. However, there's something in me that just wants to figure out what that was, although I am normally not this noisy. Noisy. That doesn't do anything. Is this gonna get me killed? Am I gonna talk with Hannah or Mr. Wright or Luke, depending on the choices I make here? Oh god. Crash came from the hallway, and I really shouldn't be snooping about, but it's just concern. Yeah, concern that urges me to check it out. Sneaking a glance at the butler, I consider sneaking off,
Excuse me, but where's the loo?
He barely looks my way before pointing a spatula towards the hallway. It's a good excuse as any, and if I'm caught lingering longer than I should, I could just excuse myself and say that I wasn't sure which door led where. Heck is down there? Still looking into the hallway reveals nothing, and I don't see anything that might have caused the crash. What the heck is that? Is that like an amp? The hallway, like the rest of the place, is in pristine condition. There are several doors for not only the toilet, but also presumably rooms for their butler and the other members of the staff. And as I stand there, however, something feels definitely out of place. One of the doors, the nearest within my reach, stands ajar, and from inside a light flickers incessantly. It could simply be a light bulb that needs replacing, but the thought of it in place so well taken care of seems odd. Off, I think. Maybe this is where the crash came from. Inside, I spy a radio lying on the floor. Probably it, right? Maybe one of the help in a hurry to get out of the room knocked it over. If that's all it is, I should really leave it alone. As I turn to leave, the sound of static fills the air and the man's tiny voice interrupts the silence.
In the morning, students found a 5th-year dead.
Oh, I'm freaking out remembering my girlfriend in high school. Why am I still standing here?
Assumed to have fallen from her dormitory window.
This seems familiar, doesn't it?
Authorities are investigating the possibility of foul play.
So, was this just for me to hear, and that's why Johans didn't react because he didn't hear this? Like, I've heard it before.
Reporting from St. Samthins, Shane McLaughlin of Galway Bay, AM.
What the?
Oh my god, that actually... Oh my god. Oh my god, why did that get me? I knew something was coming too. Why did that get me so bad? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I recoiled, backing away from whatever that was. Journal. Journal. Oh my freaking god. Why did that scare me so bad? Oh, in the process, I turn backwards on my feet and wait for the pain of falling flat on my back. But instead, I feel a hand on my back and see the smug smile of, well, guess who?
Don't tell me you're reporting to work drunk, Mint.
Of course, I know exactly who that voice belongs to. It just has to be him.
McCullough, hammered on the job? That would be something.
Am I really hearing that voice now?
Wouldn't dream of it, Whiskey.
Whiskey. So if we didn't like each other, we'd be down there?
You're allowed to be if you wanted, though it's a bit early for it. So thanks for the save.
Really, it is much appreciated. Even though the circumstances during our first meeting were not savory or wholesome, I can't bring myself to completely look at Mr. Wright in a bad light. Nothing came out of it after all.
It's no trouble at all. I've been told I have a gift for catching pretty ladies. Being a great catch myself.
It's just because of money, and you don't really have any.
Would you say you'll be able to catch if another man were to pitch?
Perhaps, but I wouldn't know. I don't play baseball, Mint.
Right. Of course you don't.
I can't help but chuckle at my little joke, but it looks like it completely went over his head. If he understood it, I guess it would have been inappropriate, but he is my client after all. Saving! Did he go... Yeah, he went down because of that. That's fine. That's fine. Whatever little... I want him to be with his wife anyways, so it's fine if their relationship isn't the best. Whatever little camaraderie I had with Whiskey is forgotten, however. I straighten up and glance behind him, only to find that he's on his own. Mrs. Wright is still absent. I still remember my place and why I'm here. To continue in such a manner with her husband would feel like a breach of trust between the client and I.
Since you are here, I don't suppose Mrs. Wright is on her way down? It is 10:30 after all.
As long as I'm above this line, I'm happy.
She'll be down here in a moment. For now, you have me. Can't I just chat with a good friend?
Are we really good friends?
I don't think a night where we talk like two drunk Egypts makes us good friends. And if you have any bit of sense, it's better to forget that night ever happened.
Yeah.
What? Why not? It was a good night, if a bit boring.
If a bit boring.
You know exactly why. We both know what your intentions were that night. And to find out that you're married?
Yeah.
If there's even an ounce of decency in you, if you'd like the world to be a little less messed up, you'll remember your wife and what you almost did to your Mrs. Wright.
It's better to get that out of the way once and for all.
Well, no need to be such a killjoy about it.
I'm glad she did, though. The dead air between us, because it can be anything else but that, is broken as a lively voice calls out from the loft. This is a cute picture.
Marianne! I hope I haven't kept you waiting too long. I know we agreed we'd start at 10 o'clock, but mornings just simply do not agree with me. Not one bit. It's been like this since I've been in university.
I appreciate how her voice is coming closer. It's 5 minutes to 11 o'clock. These high-end clients sure like to be fashionably late. I'm used to it, though, much like I'm used to so many years of hearing people mispronounce my name. Besides, berating or correcting my client would be extremely impolite, and Mary Ann doesn't sound too bad when she says it. To be fair, it doesn't seem like she's late on purpose.
I see you're up, darling. You know, you could have woken me up as well.
Well, now that we know she's pregnant, she was probably A, totally dead tired like I was, and probably puking in the morning, too. So, all of the above? Oh, lordy.
Were you showing Marianne around? Not that there's much to see. This place is so tiny compared to the mansion.
I'm more worried about the way she stares at me, judging. Such a look. It doesn't suit her pretty face after all. Just seeing Mrs. Wright reminds me far too much of her, and maybe I'm starting to hear her again and see her again when I shouldn't. I should have left it all behind and forgotten it. To think she would be looking at me that way, I can just feel my hands tremble.
Yes, just showing her around and getting to know each other. Isn't that right, Marianne?
Yes, of course. And your butler was making breakfast a while ago. So if you want to get right to that...
Breakfast would be lovely.
There's no denying the clients when they invited me over to the table. Though it is too personal to share a meal in their home, it would be terribly rude to deny their invitation. Oh my god, that's a lot of pancakes. And what is that over there? Pancakes didn't look and smell heavenly. Is that supposed to be like syrup on the side? I don't know. A bowl of clotted cream, fruit syrups, jams, and other spreads. Oh, that's probably what that is. Are laid out next to them, making for a colorful arrangement. This is a brunch with friends. I would have gladly helped myself to the whole lot, but as it is, I accepted just a few pancakes topped off with lemon and sugar.
You know,
Lemon?
I was a tiny bit serious when I said I wanted a helipad.
And you're not serious about the greenhouse, the vineyard, and the stables?
Well, I do want those too, but I know you'll agree to those.
We're talking about interiors here, honey. You don't handle exterior designs and whatever handles those sorts of projects do you, Marianne?
I'm able, actually, and willing to take a project of that nature. I was an architect in Ireland before. Of course, that's another contract entirely. I also suggest we finish the house itself before working on any additions to the rest of the property. There won't be any problems about ownership this time, will there? Pardon if I'm crossing a line, but the acquisition was rather quick.
Oh, don't you worry. We've got everything sorted this time around. I've talked to Miss Cooper and Mr. John from BRC, as well as the old owners. Everything has been paid in full, and all we're waiting for is the paperwork from the land registry. They're letting us move in as soon as we please. It's not like they were living there in the first place.
That's good to hear. The problems that could arise from renovating another person's home would be... well, let's not dwell on it. First off, we'll want to know how you want the place to look. It's pretty furnished as is, but I understand if you want to modernize the whole thing.
Actually, I'd prefer to keep the place looking as it is, but at the same time, I want modern appliances.
I'd agree with that.
You worked on the Ludgate's Christchurch summer residence. I do remember there being an oven I thought was a simple drawer before. Make them look vintage, antique, blended with the rest of the decor.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Customize appliances then. I can't find someone for that, and if you can't tell me what you specifically want, it'll hasten up the process. We're talking about electronic appliance manufacturers. If you have a preferred brand to work with.
Splendid!
Again, with the little anime, I hit the mic again, but who does this?
So, what is next on our agenda? All the other interior designers we've hired in the past did not have us this involved.
Wow. What sort of half-baked designer did that? If I knew who they were, I would have had words. This isn't the time or the place for it, however. I used this brief pause to pull out the floor plans I brought with me.
We'll have to figure out what you want to do with the rooms. Here, we can have a quick run through.
What is that little room next to the master's bedroom?
Yeah, the quarters room?
Oh, as far as I could tell when I saw it, it's a second bedroom of sorts. Used, apparently, for the ladies-in-waiting who has served Lady Charlotte Ermengarde. Which is strange, as that isn't the norm for these sorts of houses.
Yeah, that is strange. You'd think that would have been like a baby room or something.
Well, we're not stuffing Johans in there. He won't fit. You don't suppose we could turn it into a walk-in closet and a dressing room?
That would be cool.
I love fashion. But do we really need to turn an entire room into a walk-in closet, dear? We'll have large closets and a wardrobe in the bedroom already.
Nah, I would put their bathroom that's right there in that room, and then I would put the closet in the bathroom, and there you go.
Says the one who takes 3/5 of our closet. Well, what do you suggest we do with it?
I thought a utility room of some sort would be nice. A craft room where I can do fun things. Or maybe a children's room might be nice. You know, for when Kylie comes over. Or if Rochelle visits once she's had a baby.
Kylie is their goddaughter? The blue-haired girl that Zach met? Oh.
1, you are not inviting that witch. And 2, there's a whole mansion for Kylie to play in. We don't need a children's room, and you don't even do arts and crafts.
They do need a children's though, because she's pregnant.
I'd like to turn the guest's room and the study into my personal office, by the way.
You don't get
if you don't
both.
mind.
You don't get
You
both.
can turn it into a personal office if I can have my utility room. It's just the one room of the many. I'm taking that room for myself, no matter what you say, dearie. So you might as well take this deal. You're always out doing business anyway. The real problem is the theater. Whatever are we going to do with all that space?
Keep it as a theater. Hell yeah.
Fine. We could turn it into our own personal cinema, I suppose.
Yeah.
Might as well have it, if you plan on not having a telly in the parlor.
Yeah.
Yes, well, I don't want guests to be glued to the telly when they come over for a meal and some tea.
Then don't turn on the TV. How hard is that?
By the looks of things, we can keep the rooms as what they are on the ground floor, though. The ballroom would be perfect for parties.
Do we really need a dining hall, though? I don't suppose we can't convert it into a garage.
Why would you convert the dining hall into a garage? Just build a separate garage if you're this rich.
What for? You can park your cars outside.
What about that room, right there, in the northwest corner?
The quarters
That's
room?
sleeping quarters for the household help?
Yeah.
Oh, that is perfect. Johans will be glad if we have other staff members who stayed in. It'd be convenient so they don't have to make the trip from Luxbourne to the mansion when they're needed.
You'll definitely need a lot more people to maintain a property of this size.
Yeah.
The mansion is really a lot bigger than I thought. Look at all these rooms. I didn't even know there was a music room next to the parlor because of what happened.
You didn't go in there?
There was a grand piano in there too, when we checked during the tour.
Did you hear that, Luke? Maybe you can take up playing the piano again.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know he
Oh,
played.
you should have seen him when we were younger, Marianne.
It's cute.
It's not like I was very good with the thing.
Oh, hush you. You were no Mozart, but I loved hearing you play nonetheless.
That's adorable. He's actually blushing. That's kind of cute. I'll give him that.
He'd come over to my home and he'd play such fun tunes. He'd sing too, and I'd dance, and it was just...
Mr. Wright playing the piano? I can't imagine it. But the earnest way Mrs. Wright said so told otherwise.
Anyway, what do you think of these plans, Marianne?
Are we not even going to consider one of my requests? Not even just a closet or just a garage? Now, that isn't fair, is it? You're not the only one who's going to be living here.
I hardly see how that's unfair. I told you you're getting your office and your theater, the greenhouse, the vineyard, and the stables. That sounds fair, does it not, Marianne?
It does. It sounds very fair. It's okay if it goes down. I'm fine with it. Mrs. Wright has her points, though I really didn't want to butt into the spat of a husband and wife, but with the way these two are looking at me to settle this, I might as well just keep the facts instead of giving an
Mr.
opinion.
Wright, your plan isn't quite feasible from an architectural perspective. I'm not even sure how much we can do without closer inspection. Well, the one about the garage, at least. A walk-in closet is easy enough, but the garage?
See, a garage isn't architecturally feasible, and it isn't going to be financially sound as well.
Just build a separate garage.
We're
It's
already
fine.
going to spend a lot on your other requests. You have several acres of land to park on already.
What? Did you calculate that on the fly?
What? Calculate what? She didn't give any numbers.
Financially sound my foot. You're probably just thinking up of imaginary numbers.
Might I remind you that I was a financial manager?
Yeah.
I also looked over and approved the expenses of our other houses. I know the rough cost of these things by now, love. Masters in business administration, major in accounting. Sometimes I think you forget that I'm not as dumb as I act.
Why do you act dumb, then? That catches my attention more than anything. It sounds more unbelievable than Whiskey playing the piano. She really didn't seem like the
Business
type.
administration and accounting? What university?
Luxbourne U, of course. Go Lux Dragons, red and gold.
Excuse me, how about we move on this chit-chat ahead and do whatever else needs to be done sometime today? I had to cancel my appointments for this, you know. We might as well do a proper inspection with the designer this time, just to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Yes, no time like the present. You want a thorough inspection? Might as well do it now. We actually took another look at the property yesterday, though it was brief. But I'm sure you would want to see it yourself, to spot anything we might have missed.
It's not like I have much of a choice, do I? Writing to the, oh my god, mansion in their rice is an awkward affair. Is that supposed to be Royce and they just got rid of the O? That's a little weird. Pancakes! I had that for breakfast today. It was quite yummy. And now we are off to to see the mansion, and I'm guessing I can die in there. God. Not only am I worried about scuffing the expensive leather seats, but I'm also worried about getting in the middle of another couple's spat. But it'll be skipping farther ahead because she does make it to the party on Friday. Yeah. So maybe it'll be a Saturday or a Sunday? With the tensions thick in the air, I can feel them staring at each other. I can feel them starting at each other at any time. I guess arguing, up until Mr. Wright tells his valet to turn the damn radio off, and for a moment I think he might start, but instead he just stays quiet, and so do the rest of us. In the end, this sufferable silence stays. I have never been so glad to see a house. I don't like the noises it makes, though. Stepping out of the car and up to the mansion meant the end of an uncomfortable ride, and I can finally take a deep breath of fresh air. The beauty of the place never fails to make me gaze and wonder every time I see it as well. Mrs. Wright moves towards the front door, keys in hand, and I can already hear Mr. Wright plotting.
All right, Hans, we're going to go in, but I want you to look around the place. Familiarize yourself with it. Know every nook and cranny, every inch of the lot. Go and see where we can put that vineyard and the other things we talked about. We'll want to know where to station security as well, so go around the perimeter and figure it out.
Oh my god.
Scout the property and circle the perimeter on foot.
Well, yeah, it's like a major...
You do know this is 46 acres of land, sir.
Yeah.
Well, you are not driving a car over the grass.
Oh my god, let him drive a car.
Put those long, spidery legs of yours to good use. I didn't hire you to stand around and look intimidating.
Jeez.
Go, mush.
Mush, not mush? Someday I'd like to ask Johans how he can even stand and tolerate the man. Why doesn't he just quit? Clearly the pay can't be that good. Even I'm a bit put off by our mutual employer, and the only thing that keeps me from bailing is the fact that we've already signed a contract. At least I'll only be working with them during the duration of the project. He works with them every day.
Sometimes I think you hired me to make me suffer for your amusement.
Probably. Someday I'd ask. I feel a bit bad for him. If it's any consolation, he'll be away from Mr. Wright, if only for a little while. Forever. We're able to enter the mansion after a bit of standing out in the sun. This wretched, strange sunlight that is far too alien and rare. There had been a bit of a problem with the missus not knowing which key was which. The first item on the agenda would be the grand staircase. It seemed sturdy during the open house, but a closer inspection might say otherwise. There are no obvious marks or damage nor wear and tear, probably re-threaded during the renovations. Peeking under the grand carpet, the wood is properly installed with the bark placed down to prevent cupping, and the carpet itself could use a vacuum though. Structural conditions, from what I can see without actual dismantling the thing, look to be in good shape, and the handrails and support posts are firm. The work on it should be commended. I can't look much more into the rest of the foyer, however, because Mr. Wright starts to hurry us into checking the dining hall.
So, what do you think? Certainly we can't turn this area into a garage.
Yeah, that's the dumbest idea I think I've ever heard.
It's Jacobean architecture. I'd say these would be pilasters and not buttresses, but you never really know. They really liked mixing up these elements. You could say it was pretty avant-garde at the time. We might hit a support beam if we're not careful.
Yeah.
And in layman's terms?
From what I see here, we could risk great damage to the house if we try to turn the dining hall into a garage.
A part of hitting a support beam is not in layman's terms. That makes plenty of sense. The man didn't look too pleased at this. There's a look of disappointment before he sighs and looks around the place with an air of defeat. When he moves to speak, I dread another unreasonable demand
Yes,
again.
we stay at dining hall then. But if I may have another request instead, at least spruce the place up with some flowers, some plants or something. It feels so old and dead in here.
That's fine.
That's hardly unreasonable. Daffodils are a must, I presume.
The look that passes between the two of them, there is genuine look of fondness there. This is the first time I've seen such an exchange between the two of them. If anyone are to see them like this, it's little doubt that they love each other.
Of course. And I want a garden full of them.
Now, if you excuse me, I'd like to look at the rest of the house. I'll just be around here downstairs, if anybody needs me.
He just wants to drink. Probably going down to the wine cellar. That leaves Mrs. Wright and I.
He's quite fond of them, you know.
I can imagine. He looked terribly upset when we told him he can't have his garage.
I meant the daffodils. We always have a vase full of them in every house we own. Somewhere, I'd like to think. They may be about his mother. He never talks about her.
Wow.
I don't even know her name.
That's surprising.
He likes to flatter, claim that they remind him of me, but he's always loved the flowers, even before we married.
Much like the piano, I didn't take him for a person who liked flowers. Daffodils, least of all. What's next? Am I gonna find out Mr. Wright saves kittens from burning buildings?
I'll go and snoop about upstairs.
I highly doubt it.
You go and do whatever it is that you have to do.
When she goes without even asking if I need her here, I'm left standing to stare at the walls. Really, I don't need to do a thorough inspection of the building itself. It isn't really part of the interior designer's job. But the architect in me is committed to doing this task with every project. If I'm going to be making a living space that have both form and function, I might as well make sure that the entirety of it is safe for my clients. Since I'm already here, I roam about the dining hall to check things off my punch list, if you will. But when it's time to move on, I hesitate. Mr. Wright said he would be down here somewhere around the ground floor, and I really didn't want to be alone with Whiskey. I have to look through the place eventually, sure, but on the other hand, I can do it later when he's gone. I can go upstairs first if I want to. Oh, God. Where are we? What? Oh, wait, we are here. I'm guessing this will be a relationship boost. Let's look. Let's get maybe a little bit more friendly with Luke. It doesn't say anything. Oh no, I'm scared. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, I skipped the QuickTime event. That would have been upstairs. Okay. So I'm safer, right? Just because of one troublesome client shouldn't mean I let him get in the way of my work. The parlor is my first destination, mostly because I figure Mr. Wright is hiding in the wine cellar and making plans there. I'm going to bump into him sooner or later, but I'd rather make it later. Much, much later. The place, upon closer inspection, is in good shape. I don't doubt that this place was done with the most care, considering it would be one of the first rooms visitors would see during the open house. There's a stain on the carpet, most likely by one of the guests at the time, but it isn't anything a good cleaning can't get rid of. Next is the music room, or at least that's the plan.
Locked? Oh, come on now.
I rattled the doorknob again, harder this time to double check, even to give it a good obliged to see if it's a problem with the door itself. But no, definitely locked. That's weird, considering the rest of the rooms aren't. It could just be this one, though, and I can try the other door through the ballroom if I really wanted to get in. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. The sound of a piano. Oh god. Though it just plays one note over and over again. It makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand, and I back away from the door. Though I wasn't exactly the superstitious sort, what am I going to do? The room is locked. I can just go back to it later. Maybe see if I can go through the ballroom and... What the hell just happened? The music room door opens and Luke stands by the doorway. He looks a lot like a cat ate the canary, and I didn't appreciate the way his eyes linger on me.
Isn't it common sense that locked doors mean someone wants a bit of privacy? You needn't try to break the door down.
Or did you just want to see me again that badly without the misses?
Oh my god.
I don't see why you would, though, Mint. Nothing really happened between us.
Dear God, I'm surprised.
Well, I wasn't looking for Whiskey. I was just going around to do my inspection. Thought it needed a push, just in case the door was stuck and actually needed repairs.
So you really are some fancy interior designer, huh?
What did he guess?
Had you told me you were one, I would have called you a piss taker.
Oh my god.
I figured you'd be, I don't know, an assistant going for a drink after a week with a tosser of a boss.
I'm just glad you thought me any sort of professional with how ossified I was. I must have not looked the part, so I understand your surprise.
He doesn't offer a witty retort, and he grows quiet for a moment.
At first glance, Hana didn't look like some fancy finance manager when I first met her either. She was the pretty daughter of this rich, powerful man. When she was introduced, they told me that she was not there as the man's daughter, but as a part of management. I thought it dubious. All the beautiful women I knew before her, they used their looks to get what they want. And there she was, with all that she could ever need in life. And yet she works hard to earn her keep.
He sounds a little bit in love with his wife.
It sounds like you admire her.
Hearing that, I too can't help but feel admiration for
you
Mrs.
enjoy
Wright.
your job, don't you, Mint?
It helps me earn my keep, as you would put it. A bit strange to say out loud, but it gives me purpose as well.
Do you think then that, maybe, Hana would want to go back to being a working person?
I mean, considering how long she hasn't been, possibly. Taken aback at his question, I await for further clarification. What makes him ask this, and why of me of all people? Saving. Should ask her. She seems content.
Shouldn't you be asking her this?
Yeah.
Isn't her opinion much more important than that of someone you just met in a pub a few nights ago?
Yeah.
You're a woman, and I figured you might know more. I mean, people are always saying that women are fulfilled by having husbands and having a good home.
People like that are liars.
But then I see ones like you who look happy having jobs. Maybe she's like you, and having a job would be better for her.
She'd probably like a mix of both, especially since we know she's pregnant. She'd probably like to be a mom and work when she wants to type of thing, but not be obsessed with one or the other.
Just because I'm a woman? You do know we don't all think the same way. But I don't know. I'm not married or anything, but this shouldn't be a complicated matter.
She's right.
She's your wife for how many years? Talk to her. Ask her what she wants. Don't you guys talk during supper or something?
That gets him thinking, or at least it looks like
Well,
it does.
I should let you get back to work. Thanks for talking with me, I suppose.
Right. But anything goes awry if you take my advice. Just remember that I'm not some marriage counselor.
Yeah.
So take it with a grain of salt.
My marriage goes down the shitter, I'll sue you. Noted.
Wait, that's not...
Too late. He takes a step back into the music room, shuts the door, and leaves me there looking gobsmacked. He wasn't serious, was he? No, he's not. That man, I don't understand him at all. One moment he's a huge arse, and then he's this person the next.
Guy. Still needs a good arse kicking if you ask me.
Okay, can I stop hearing voices? Okay, so forget about going into the music room then. That's fine, he'll have to go out of there sooner or later. In the meantime, I can go around and check the rest of the house. All my worries fade when I step into the ballroom, and well, the whole place is grand, isn't it? I can see why the Wrights made sure nobody else would take this place from them. Anyone who has it will certainly be the belle of the ball, and it's pretty much one great big status symbol. I don't think I can do much of a thorough inspection in this room, so I note it down for later. I hate this room. Moving on to the kitchen, I check with the ventilation and the general fire safety of the kitchen. That's a bit important for a place this size. I would, of course, suggest bringing an actual fire safety inspector over for more detailed inspection. It wouldn't do to see such a beautiful architecture go up in flames, after all. I take measurements of the countertops and cabinets, note down what type of wood they used. They wanted some of these recreated to hide modern appliances. There's a loose floorboard at the farthest corner, and some of the others had scratches, but everything else seems to be in decent shape. That scared me. Someone knocks.
You can come in. Door's not locked.
I wait, expecting Mrs. Wright or the butler to come in, but nobody entered. Instead, there's that knocking again. It's louder and more urgent this time, and I'm pretty sure I didn't lock the thing. Dear God. Ugh.
All right. I'm coming. Just hold on.
When I move to open the door, though, I realize something. The knocking isn't coming from the door, but probably the wine cellar. Ugh. I pause for a second, waiting, but the knocking has not ceased. I don't like this. And soon enough, it becomes desperate. The dull thuds from before switching to what seems to be scratching. Desperate and insistent at once, as if grasping for respite.
Is somebody stuck down there? Heck!
The heck? Where did that come from? How did it even get down there? That put the heart crossway in me, it did. I love cats, but they have no business giving people a fright. For a second there, all the ghastly rumors about this place came flooding back. Now peering into the darkness of an open trap door gets me thinking, and it gets me curious. Seriously though, I should really make sure that there aren't any more surprises from down under. I don't think the Wrights would appreciate it if we found a litter of kittens making a house of the wine cellar. Mr. Wright seemed the type to skin a cat if any of his precious wines were to be contaminated. I'm done with the kitchen anyway. Oh God. I don't like this. Going down the flight of stairs while wearing high heels is always a bad idea. Descending into the dark underground only made it worse. But I manage anyhow without any major slips up.
These stairs need work, that's for sure.
Surprisingly, the wine cellar is in good condition. No water damage from last year's flooding, and apart from the dust and cobwebs that have accumulated, the place will likely hold for several more years. Racks and barrels line the walls, making the spacious room look smaller than it is. I'm no expert, but it looks good enough for immediate use without further addition. Bloody whiskey will be having a field day. I think so anyway, until I feel something crunch beneath my feet. Oh God. Whatever few bottles were left behind here are nothing but glass under my heels. Cat's fault, I'd wager, and I made a downright mess with the red slick pooling in the remnants of a good drink. Oh God, that was hard to say. There's a lot of stuff for to have just been a few bottles, though. A whole trail of it flows from the end of the room, and I follow, fully expecting a leaking barrel or a whole upturned rack. Instead, it just keeps going, and it stops at a large puddle at the very
what a
back
waste
wall.
of wine.
It is a waste of wine.
Why is it so sticky, though? Ugh.
It's thick, too. Nothing like wine. Of course, it could just be mold.
Maybe it's not wine.
Oh my god.
Go on, touch it. I dare ya.
No. Despite it all, I find myself answering because it's her voice. Amy Lorraine. Lovely Amy, pretty Amy. I can imagine her standing there with me, laughing and pestering me as I did my work in the way only friends can. She was my friend, and the only one that I had at St. Samthon's. I was a scholar, the charity case, in the school of privileged and prestigious young girls. They all looked down at me, and if they cared to look or acknowledge my presence at all except her. Sometimes I wish for the good old days when we were friends. Now she's nothing but a ghost, though I try so hard to get over her. I
What am
really
I,
do.
5 years old? Oh, damn it, it's stuck under my shoe.
I double dare you. Hell, I double dog dare you. Don't be such a scaredy cat. It's probably wine. What else could it be? Blood?
Don't be
Dear God.
ridiculous. Why would there be blood down here?
If it was a joking sort, I would have said it might have been the reason why the previous owners sold the place. Maybe the ghost stories are actually true, and they wanted to get away from the walls that dripped of the ectoplasmatic goo and whatever ghouls haunted about. Doubt it. I hardly believe any of that voodoo nonsense as it is, but as I stare at the mess at my feet, probably looking like a fool while I'm at it, I notice something strange. It isn't visible unless one is really paying attention, but I can see the red gunk seeping through a crack in the wall.
What's this, then?
I worry about structural damage and damage to the foundation. I worry about the wine cellar, as the wrong conditions can lead to the deterioration of its contents if temperatures and humidity are not controlled. Up until now, I see how clean-cut the crack is. It runs along the edge of the wall and vertically along it, where a door would be. Pressing my hand against the wall lends credence to the idea as I try to flee where it would give way.
Could it be an adventure then? A secret passage? There must be a hidden switch somewhere.
Lordy.
Go look! This is the most interesting thing you've done by far.
If there's a hidden room here, that could certainly explain the discrepancy in the mansion's floor plans. It wouldn't be too far-fetched to think that there could be hidden rooms and passageways all over the house if we were to follow that logic. And boy, isn't that exciting? I didn't read that. Suddenly she touches my arm and I flinch away in shock. That shouldn't be possible. I understand the auditory hallucinations and even visual ones, but that was...
You look surprised. What's wrong?
That's not possible. You're...
Dead.
Aren't you happy to see a dear old friend, though? I'm hurt, I am.
Can you just stay dead, please?
What the hell is going on here?
Fair question.
Oh, isn't it obvious? I come back for you, so that we can be together again.
That face got evil quickly. She touches me once more, I recoil. What does she mean together again? She's dead.
No! Leave me alone!
Leave you alone? But I just got here.
Hi, Johans. I met again with the Wright's butler, who looks at me with an indifferent look. And when I look back, Lorraine is gone.
I wasn't talking to you, just thinking aloud is all.
Yeah, that's it.
You should really avoid talking to yourself, Kint. Do more of that and others will think you're insane.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Is that all you're here for, or has your master sent you running down here for something?
Oh, no, I am just down here to admire the place. I've not been inside before. I thought I would look around before we return to the city. The car is already running, you see, and I suggest you go back to the foyer, unless you wish to be left behind. It seems you are in good company already, after all, with this house and your imaginary friend.
Wait, we're leaving already? But I haven't finished inspecting the rest of the house.
Yeah.
Be that as it may, there's a sulking man-child up there who wishes to go home. We are all subject to his whims, lest he throw a tantrum.
Fair. I can't help but smile at that. He's a strange guy. I still can't imagine how he can work for a guy like Luke Wright, though. I imagine the blonde arse ain't an easy guy to get along with. Whatever the butler was having to tolerate that, I want 10 of it.
And we wouldn't want any soiled knickers or spilled milk. Why don't you go head on and I'll be right there.
Very well. Do be careful on your way back. I saw some broken glass on the way and it will not do to cut yourself on them.
Mm-hmm.
I will, yeah. Just tell Mr. Wright not to blow a gasket or anything. I'll be just a minute.
Speaking of blowing gaskets, there's something else dangerous here. Whatever's behind that door, it could pose some problems. Best case scenario, it could ruin good stocks of wine, but who knows what's behind that false wall. I'll have to come back to it. It's already dark as we make our way out of the mansion. With no lights, we are only illuminated by the headlamps of the Wright's car and the stars up above us. The sight of them helps me compose myself much more than several minutes of being alone did. The car's engine is running, yet the two of them still stand out on the lawn. Mrs. Wright is busy, eyes up to the stars, and Mr. Wright, arms crossed, has his eyes down to the ground. It is the crunch of the grass under my heels that bring their attention to me.
About time. What took you so long? A minute longer and I'd think the house swallowed you all up.
It did.
Oh, hush, dear. I'm sure she has her reasons. Marianne doesn't seem the sort to idle.
Sorry, I was just checking on something important.
See, business is business and they take time, love. You should know that better than anyone. So, Marianne, what do you think? Are you the woman for the job?
Probably.
I know we already signed papers hiring you, but I want to be 100% sure that you are committed.
I glanced back towards the mansion, knowing what I had seen there, that curious thing in the wine cellar, which is stuff I'd only read about from fucking horror stories, and her. I should feel the slightest bit hesitant. I was lucky. I've seen enough films to know what happens when a promiscuous woman enters a haunted house. This is my chance to turn it down, make excuses, say that I'm not up to the task and that I need to take care of my old sick father. Just pay the fine, which is probably outrageous for a contract like this, and let it go. I should turn it down, but for some obstinate reason I can't, in the same matter that I haven't let go of her, of the regret that has shadowed me since that day. Much as I hate to admit it, even to myself, seeing her again, the mischievous glint in her eyes, the loose tendrils of her hair curled around her forehead, it's something I've terribly missed, and now that it's here, almost within arm's reach, my father would tell me, sometimes you just simply have to go through with it, consequences be damned. And well, I really don't have any logical reason to say no. At least not something a client like the Wrights would want to hear from a professional designer.
It's certainly an interesting project. You can be sure I'm seeing it through the end.
When I die.
Such dedication! Oh, I do love the determination.
You were always determined like that, weren't you?
Can you not talk, stupid ghost friend lady in my head? Hearing her voice once again sends a chill running down my back. I can't wait for this day to be over. For real. Again, I really like what this place looks like at night. From the mansion and through Anselm, I rode with them in silence, but as soon as we hit city proper, I asked to be dropped off and bid them goodnight. I thought it'd be best if I didn't stay too long in confined spaces with either Mrs. or Mr. Wright. Both seemed to cause me serious trouble, and if the project had been any less interesting or grand, I would have dropped it without second thought. What happened here? It's a cute drawing of her, but don't trust her, she's crazy. She crazy. I'm just looking at my... Wow, we're just the same amount of friends with Isabella and Hannah. Luke's up there, too. And then branching tree. Oh, God. Would have, should have, won't. I assure them that my place isn't that far, and I have to fight off the urge to roll my eyes and groan when whiskey throws me a little smirk. But even in my own home, peace is elusive, as is sleep. I lie awake thinking of what I saw in the mansion, of who I saw. If I so much as hear a single whisper from her, if I so much as see a wisp of her hair, I'm afraid I'll go mad. But none of that happens, and it makes me feel hollow. For 2 nights I've had trouble sleeping, but it's only one morning when fatigue has already let me rest that I'm reminded of what terrifies me so. In my restless dreams I see that mirror. The one in the study, and in it I see her. I see them. Oh my god, hello, what? Lorraine and Hannah. My goodness! My goodness, Miss Marianne. Hannah and Lorraine.
Pathetic Marianne. Work, work, work. She'll work herself to death.
See, she doesn't listen. That's all she did. Look at what happened to me.
They talk amongst themselves with cruel smiles and venomous tongues. Or rather, to themselves, 2 heads, 1 body. Oh, that's creepy. A horrible mockery of these women, as if they were the one and the
More's
same.
the pity. Life goes on and goes out, and she doesn't even see it.
Do you think she'll even realize when she's kicked the bucket herself?
When they say a person has a hard time telling when they're in a dream, it was true often enough. Even with this bizarre sight, even with the obvious implication that this isn't real, I can't help but feel distressed.
Likely. If there's any way to live at all, she might as well be dead.
Cruel fate that she's alive and I'm, well.
Though they speak to each other's into each other's ear, tones low and hushed, I can still hear them clear as day. Their whispers pervade the air, heavy and oppressive. They bury and dig into my head like tiny maggots, worming their way into my skull. It is only then that they take notice of my presence. Eyes turning towards me, I can only feel small under their scrutiny. Caricature smiles etch on their faces, mimicking each other grotesquely.
Oh, Marianne! How long have you been standing there, dearie?
Come join us, Marianne. We won't bite. Unless you ask, that is.
Oh my.
Have you been looking at us? Spying? How scandalous. Such a naughty girl.
Not gonna lie, Hannah's scary voice is more impressive than Lorraine's.
I'm sure you were just waiting for something lewd to happen, weren't you?
You know she will not admit it. She thinks it wrong. You've said it so yourself.
Yes. She thought me wrong, impure, abnormal, because I loved her.
Hello! My breath hitches as I open my mouth to protest, but they stop, screeching me. The mirror that holds them cracks, lines splintering across the surface.
Do not lie! We know the gluttonous thoughts you try to deny, girl. All those desires you bury beneath that sickening guilt. You act the martyr when you turn the bed you lie in into your own hedonistic hell. You are nothing but a tainted soul with filth-stained flesh held together by falsehood and pride.
They look livid, and when it looks like they would lunge, I wake. Oh god, that would have been a creepy-ass dream. Feeling the wind had been knocked out of me. With a groan, I squint and find a certain fluff ball sitting on my chest, looking as pleased as Punch. She has the overlady of the cats and queen of despair and destruction of nice furniture, though I can't stay mad at her majesty because it feels like she did something good this time. I was having a nightmare and I can't even remember what it was about. Lucky you, I remember what it was about. Trying to recall leaves a terrible pit in my stomach. Maybe it's probably better that I don't remember.
Good morning, Baruthio. Who's the good kitty? Are you hungry? Is that why you woke me up?
A content purr comes from my sweet dear before she jumps off the bed and trots toward her hand. It takes me a bit more before I roll out of bed to start my day. Mornings before work is always a quiet affair. A shower first, then a mug of coffee and a bowl of oats. Sometimes I do stretches, and I always check my work email. The Wrights will be moving into the mansion today. I don't think the paperwork is officially done yet, but it isn't too far-fetched to think they were allowed to start their move despite that. Rich people like them will always find ways to get what they want after all.
I'll be leaving you again today, Beth. So you behave and make sure not to shred up my new covers, okay? And don't worry, I didn't forget tomorrow is Black Cat Day, so I'll throw you a party.
I better not kill off this cat.
But only if you behave like a proper lady.
She barely gives me a glance as I say that before going back to her own food. Cats. Still better than humans most of the time. Too bad I have to work with humans. So where are we on this now? Oh, we're still here. Lordy. 1 second. Just checking on the baby. But I'm back. The place is already busy as soon as I get here. The foreman, one that I've recommended to the Wrights for his work ethic as early as usual, already he's instructing men here and there with bigger loads. I have no chance to talk to him as Mrs. Wright appears and greets me with a smile.
Mrs. Wright, I hope everything has been to your liking thus far.
Good morning, Marianne. It has been delightful, and these men have been very helpful. Look at all this. It's so busy here. I'm getting tired just looking at them go.
No complications so far with the movers or the previous owners of the mansion, I hope?
If anything, the only one being problematic is Luke, if I'm to be honest. He
Why?
can be such a diva, but I do like that about him.
Why is he being a diva? Today's Wednesday. Right, couple moved in. This is when they have breakfast. Okay. She stops, looks up at the upper landing where Mr. Wright comes through with 2 other movers in the mirror from the study.
Oh, do be careful with that mirror. We wouldn't want anyone getting hurt because of broken glass.
Did the mirror break? That's the one that she saw the ghost in.
Why are you even having it carried around?
Oh? You did say you didn't want the mirror, and I keep getting distracted by it.
Is he seeing the ghost too?
If I'm going to turn the study into my office, I'd rather not have it there. Where can we put this?
Well, you are not putting it in our room.
Yeah.
Why don't you go, I don't know, put it in the wine cellar for now?
Ugh.
We can figure out if we'll store it in the attic or somewhere else later, yes?
You heard her, boys. To the cellar it goes. Mush.
It's mush! No, I'm kidding. Now he says it right. Oh god. The movers bring down the mirror one step at a time, no matter how much the man tells them to hurry. An unsettling feeling grows in my stomach as I see our reflection in the bloody thing. That's the mirror from my dreams. As soon as they go into the kitchen, I realize I'm holding my breath. Okay, we actually made progress there. I let out a sigh of relief when I think nobody is looking, and I go back to the task at hand. It'll be a terribly busy day, and there's no need for me to even think of anything else. I talk with the foreman, fill him in which room is which. It seems I'm doomed to not get any significant work done without being interrupted when it comes to these particular clients, however.
Marianne, dear, have you had breakfast yet? Well, I do believe it would be considered brunch at this hour.
Oh yes, Mrs. Wright,
You must join me. Johans has already been breaking in the kitchen, as they say. I do not see the others settling down for a meal anytime soon. Someone might as well enjoy the food while it's hot. And that someone might as well be us.
I should say no. I really must say no, but the way she smiles makes it difficult to do so. Look at how ridiculous I'm being, acting like a silly, nervous schoolgirl with a crush. It's just brunch, and who am I to say no to a client? It would be impolite. It's not like I'm going to agree because of anything other than proprietary. I'm not agreeing just because she batted her pretty eyelashes.
You insist.
It really isn't any of those, but it's something about her eyes, rather. She looks like she needs a good talk, a friend. And although I'm not supposed to be chummy with my client, there's no harm in pretending, right? Of course, I've been wrong many occasions before. Maybe there's plenty of harm in pretending that I care. Because pretending I care might actually lead to caring. Being alone in the same room as the missus leaves me reeling, and I find myself paying too much attention to her. It seems so borderline unhealthy with how much I'm getting obsessed, even if it's just by looking. And it's the little insignificant things I notice, like the way she plays with her hair, or how she smooths down her dress.
Hiya! Come on now!
Whiskey's annoying voice in the other room helps pull me back to the ground. I'm just looking, aren't I? I know that someone like her wouldn't even look at someone like me. Still, there's some time to turn around this bad decision.
I'd really like to thank you for inviting me to breakfast, Mrs. Wright, but I already ate, so I should really go back to work.
Nonsense! You arrived so early, you must not have gotten a proper meal. Sit, sit! I'd situate us in the dining hall, but it is a mess right now.
Her concern is sweet as her smile, but I'm really not here for idle chit-chat, something I keep forgetting. We're both distracted when the food arrives, which is enough for me to stay at least until the meal is over. No more, no less, just to be polite. Thankfully, the conversation steers into a topic I'm comfortable with, work. This goes on for a bit, and I can't be more relieved. Most people don't understand calling me a workaholic, but I choose to work in a field I'm enthusiastic about. So what if my career is also my hobby?
But no, really, how have you liked it so far?
I hate it.
Oh, it has been wonderful, believe me. Everything is going smoothly, too.
Probably because she's rich.
It has been a long time since I've worked on something on this grand a scale. Nowadays, everyone is about condos and flats, living in the city where every room is an identical box. Believe me, this is very refreshing.
We lived in a condo before this, Marianne.
I didn't mean any insult.
It's fine,
Why are we going
sweetie.
through this conversation all over again? We've already done this before as
Look
Hannah.
at you, all frazzled. I was just pulling your leg. Luke wanted that penthouse when we got married, and you can thank him for purchasing this place as well.
Wait, doesn't she own the house? I'm pretty sure. I have no business with it, though. It's theirs to hash out. But apparently the momentary confusion had been visible.
Don't be fooled. I'm just the treasury. I wouldn't be able to make a purchase this grand without his seal of approval.
I see.
That's it. That's all you have to say?
Yes, what else is there to it? Without warning, the nice friendly chat devolved into something horrible, something
But
sad.
I really don't know what to say, Mrs. Wright. We were talking of no topic in particular, and...
Luke. We were talking about Luke.
About him not eating breakfast with you?
About him treating me as if I were some treasury.
Marianne is really bad at this. Despite my general dislike of the upper class, I sometimes feel pity for them. They may have all the money in the world where material things aren't a problem, but they don't even see what they've become, where they've ended up, or what they've done most of the time. They're shut in by their own trap, forced to play along with society's expectations and do anything to stay where they are and to keep what they have. A world where even people feel or are treated, whatever, when someone is at the top, the only way for them to go is down. I've worked with many Hannahs and Lukes and Whiskeys, but I've never been one of them. I don't pretend to understand their world any deeper than that. I merely know what I've witnessed before. She looks lost, speechless at how she betrayed herself. My pity for the likes of her returns. Nothing but pity moves me as I speak before she can say anything else that might ruin or break her.
I won't speak a word, Mrs. Wright. Not only am I contractually obliged to, it would also go against my principles. This is no one else's business but your own, and it should be kept between the two of you. And whoever you wish to seek counsel from.
Please, Marianne. You have to understand. These sort of affairs. If anyone were to know this, they could just twist it and we'll be ruined. All I ask for is your silence on the matter.
Sorry, my phone had a notification. The way she practically begs me to keep quiet is disheartening. I have no plans of speaking about anything I hear, especially if it's about their private affairs. By the way she looks at me, the way she just expects some sort of fallout because of this makes my heart clench.
Well, I'm keeping that information confidential as well.
It's not like I have any other choice, do I?
Thank you.
The last of the food and drink is gone. The door opens as if on cue.
Madam, the photographer from Luxury Living is here.
This was a wonderful meal, Marianne. You're free to return to your duties.
Duties?
I must excuse myself.
It was my pleasure. And thank you for the food as well.
She stands up to leave, and all I want to do is reassure her again to prove that I am someone she can trust. So when she looks back my way, I didn't fight the smile that found its way on my face. I feel giddy, but the feeling dies down afterwards as I sober up. Oh well, back to work. Soon enough, I find myself drawn to the kitchen where the Wright butler has returned to. He's already claimed the space and telling movers to back off, and none dares to question his proclamation either.
My kitchen. No kinder allowed. Little men running around with knives especially. We do not want any accidents to happen now, do we? Good? Good.
I mean, it is a knife-wielding German standing there. I don't think anyone would be insane enough to refuse his request.
I hope I meet the age restriction, or at least the height restriction, because I'm asking to be let in here.
You are allowed inside, McCulloch, but not the little ones.
A shake of my head and a roll of my eyes is all I give him. It's not like I'm going to be any trouble to him. I just need to look around and get my bearings. The breakfast had been distraction enough. I don't even want to think about what we just talked about. I just need to get my head straight and get back to work. The movers work efficiently even when they're left alone, and they do quick work of their responsibilities. The head foreman comes, standing in the doorway, to consult me on this or that, and I have to go help every now and then. But they pretty much have everything up to standards. They skip lunch entirely, not even realizing when they do. Nevertheless, all is well as the butler gets to heating up leftover Bubble and Squeak from breakfast and make a generous batch of fish and chips for them. Most likely simple in comparison to what he serves the Wrights, but well done nonetheless.
That smells good. Want to wrap up some for me to go?
I mean, that'd be nice, honestly, if you could take food to go. It's an idle observation more than anything. My thoughts, as they are, preoccupy me.
If there are any left, one can't go wrong with fish and chips. Everyone loves them, even my husband, and he's American.
Well, yeah, we eat anything that's deep fried. I really do hate getting so up and close and personal with my clients. It's a distraction. But he's not a client. He's someone else. He basically is a coworker at this point. It is obvious to me that I've gotten my priorities all wrong when I can't help but think about what I heard and what I learned about the Wright couple. These things have a way of creeping up on a person. Thoughts, ideas, whether they are fact or fiction. They creep up and fester, crawl and wither in the way that twists. I hear giggling, delighted and mocking. They creep up, and the sensation of fingers ghosting briefly on my arm causes me to freeze and hiss. I half expect her to be there.
No need to scream bloody murder. It's just me. Quiet down before you break glass.
But it's just whiskey.
Don't do that again. Ever.
I don't like being scared, though I don't believe in the likes of spooks. Being startled is not on the top of the things that Marianne liked list. Luckily for him, I have nothing within reach, or he would have gotten on friendly terms with something like a rolling pin.
What's with that reaction? Were you really scared?
Yes.
Has Johann's been telling you ghost stories? He just loves to scare people.
I believe
Isn't that right, Brother Gurium?
The butler's expression is unreadable. I hardly see any emotion on his face to begin with since I started working for the Wrights, aside from vague amusement. There must be something there, though, judging from Mr. Wright's own content look. The expression on Mr. Wright's face is almost cruel. But neither of them spoke, even as Johans leaves the room to serve the workers their late lunch.
So, now that we're alone, Marianne, what are you so jumpy for?
I was just thinking about all the urban legends the movers have been telling me about this place.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me you believe in that tosh. They're nothing but tales made up to scare children. Timmy, Billy, don't you dare go up to that big mansion and get in trouble there. The ghosts are going to get you.
That's a boring way to look at it, but that's usually what it is anyway, no? Like I said, I was just thinking.
It'd be a relief, actually, if those rumors of this place being haunted is true. That just means I'm not going bonkers. Hearing, let alone seeing, a dead person isn't exactly the symptoms of a healthy mind. Sure, it means there would be such things such as ghouls and goblins, but at least I'd be sane. On the other hand, there would actually be a dead girl walking
If you could
around.
excuse the inane question, Mr. Wright, you haven't noticed anything weird here?
A simple enough question on the surface, yet I notice the man stiffen as the question leaves my mouth. I wouldn't have noticed it if I wasn't watching his reaction intently, but in his eyes I see something dangerous.
It depends on your definition of the word weird. Are we still on the topic of this place being haunted? Because no, things have not started to fly around and we have yet to require an exorcism. I don't think my head would like to do the whole 180-degree turn thing.
Well, maybe that, but no strange people?
Aside from my usually weird butler and all the weird men traipsing around touching my things? No, not really. Why do you ask? Have you noticed anyone strange while you were here? Because you must report it to Johans and he'll have security handle it. But these reports better not be about ghosts and things that go bump in the night. I don't want to waste manpower on the boogeyman or senseless witch hunts.
I'll keep that in mind, Mr. Wright. But no, it's nothing like that. I guess the mansion is just strange for me. It's a unique project.
No strange men or women lurking about then?
A little girl, but not a woman. A dead teenager would technically qualify as strange. But yeah, the whole I see dead people thing isn't gonna go over well.
Not that I know of. But I'll inform Johans immediately if something comes up.
I'm serious, Mint. You see anything, anyone suspicious, and you report it. Immediately.
He must be seeing some shit to be this freaked.
I think that goes without saying.
The concern he have on the talk of security is quickly gone. His arrogant, smug smirk returns, if a bit subdued. Whatever smarmy remark or innuendo he has at the ready never comes, though, as the voice from the dining hall rings out.
Nah, I just do
Oh.
for magazines, newspapers, and events. So you can't really call it a full-time job.
Zach.
It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do. At least not all the time.
That would be the magazine photographer, I presume. As always, Mrs. Wright talks in such a kind and cheery fashion, no matter who she's talking with. It certainly puts people at ease around her. It sounds like it's working in the photographer, too. Hearing them, though, seems to put Mr. Wright in a sour mood, at least if his small scowl is anything to go by. Save.
Hey, are you alright there, Whiskey?
There we go.
You're looking like you need a serious drink.
What is it that you want to do then?
Films. Documentaries, mostly.
He still hasn't talked, it's weird.
But cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right? I was
Yeah.
working on this thing, actually.
I'm fine. Just a bit winded from all that moving about. It's been a long day.
And the day's not over yet. So if you can excuse the bloodness, you either shape up to help or ship out back to your room and let us do the rest of the work.
He hesitates, eyes locked firmly on the door that led to the dining hall. Even now, he can still hear Mrs. Wright and the photographer chit-chat in between shots.
Not my place to say this, but she really does seem to care a lot about you, you know?
There's no need to remind me of that.
A strange smile appears on his face before he shuts his eyes and sighs.
Tell the workers that you're all dismissed early.
Is this before or after she admits that... I think this is before she says she's pregnant. She says she's pregnant when they have the party, which is on Friday. And right now it's Wednesday. Okay.
That's nice and all, whiskey. But we really shouldn't just take off. Delays aren't a good thing when it comes to big projects like these. The sooner we tackle certain issues, the better.
And I trust you can take care of these issues another day. Don't make me ask again, Mint. Just tell the others they can go home early. And to not worry, they'll still get paid the remaining hours.
Well, that's nice. I don't know what prompted this. I do. With the air he's putting on, though, I know better than to meddle or prod any further. Besides...
Fine. You're the boss.
Walking out of the kitchen, I just accept the fact that whatever he says will go while under his roof. Mrs. Wright and the photographer are far too busy in conversation to notice me, even as I make my way through the dining hall. Besides, I didn't want to ruin their fun.
It wasn't really a big thing. People didn't like Blue Foncé very much.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Going to the foyer has me stumble upon the family butler once more, who raises a brow at my presence.
And where are you off to in a hurry, Miss McCulloch? The foreman is looking for you.
The Bratwurst wants us off the clock. He's dismissing us early because of... Oh, I don't know. He just wants us out of here.
I'll go and call a cab for you then. It would be for the best that you leave when he asks you to.
I mean, yeah, he's the boss. I don't doubt it. My ride back to the city doesn't take too long to get here. Granted, there were some difficulties at first because the driver didn't know where the Ermengarde mansion is. He tried to have us hand over GPS coordinates from our smartphones or something other techno babble I didn't care about, but the butler didn't understand. But as soon as we told him it's the haunted mansion over in Anselm Village, he knew just the place, and finally headed over, albeit with some hesitation. All the way back to the city, the driver keeps complaining about the place giving him the willies. It gives me the willies too. I would have loved to snap at him. But as soon as the thought occurs to me, another blossoms in the forefront of my mind. One that has somehow bothered me greatly, more than my exasperation over whiskey and the project and wanting all of it to stop. There has been no Lorraine whispering over my ears today. Worse, I find myself searching for it, searching for her. Loose ends, fucking bloody loose ends everywhere. I've thought I've already moved past this years ago, and it does nothing to help me curb my frustration. If anything, it only ensures that I want a stiff drink. And where else do I go to get that drink? Tuesdays are for karaoke, Wednesdays, improv. Usually it's these four guys who do hilarious games, and the one Irish drinking songs are always a crowd favorite. Though I love a good laugh, stand-up comedy isn't my thing, and without Cam or Haruna or any other distractions, I end up drinking a lot more this time. And when there's several bottles of beer near me, I get really, really embarrassing.
Hey! G! Psst! G, come over here.
It's a cute drawing.
I need you for something.
It's a good thing that the bartender is a nice fellow. I'd probably have been kicked out by other places now, or worse. If push comes to shove, all he would do is give me an easy smile and shake of his head, even when he's attending to other customers, just like now.
Give me a moment, will ya? I gotta go check on her.
That's Lee. That's the cop dude, inspector dude, whatever. We're almost at the end. He's some Asian guy. Hey, Ashton. And I'm pretty sure I've seen him here a couple times, although he never talks with anyone except G. The girls used to be all over him too, but he always turns them away.
I'll be here. You go do that before she falls over.
Asian Joe? What a name.
All right. What is it?
It is the inspector. Is the inspector undercover here?
Do you need someone to help you get home?
Bartender, pour the wine.
I think that's enough alcohol for you, little missy. I'm cutting you off.
A whine comes from the back of my throat as he pulls my bottle away. I have no hopes of getting them back once they're behind the counter. Even in my drunken mind, I don't dare hop over it for them. Because what little sense I have left knows I'd sooner take a floor dive than succeed in wresting a bottle from a sober man. But that doesn't stop me from trying to reach out with my arms like a stupid idiot anyways. He smiles and shakes his head, just like I know he would, before going back to the other guy.
Right now, where were we? How you holding up, boy?
With no drink and no one to really chat with, I would have gone home or gone to sleep on the bar right then and there. But I'm not ready to stand up or try to trek back home just yet.
Same old. I'm still on the Luxborn firm case.
The firm?
Those blokes they talk about being in dark suits, whisking people into the night or some shit and all that.
That's interesting, okay.
Didn't the media call it some ridiculous name in the morning news?
What is it this time? Wait, don't answer that. They've called it a lot of things. As long as people don't start running around claiming they're the Illuminati.
It is the Illuminati.
So, what have you got for me this time, G?
That'd be hilarious.
Anything good?
Slow down there. You haven't even told me what sort of deal in Dosh we got. Who are you looking into this time?
Their weird talk would have interested me. It would have kept my attention if I gave a damn. But in my current state, I can barely give 2 fucks about the things going on around me. So is this a different guy? Because he looks identical to the inspector. All these words are just buzzing, barely surfacing from the sea of sounds that is the pub. And it would have stayed that way, perhaps even drowned, if I didn't hear his name.
Right. You know the guy. And don't pretend like you don't, G. It takes a special kind of ignorant not to know who he is.
That smug blonde who likes throwing round his money. He was just here a few days ago, as a matter of fact. Great tipper, if you think him just dumping a wad of cash on the counter after having too much whiskey counts as tipping. Why are you asking? He dirty?
You have no idea, G. He's probably the worst sort you can imagine.
That you think. Fucking whiskey. Even without him around, I'm still hearing about the guy. What an absolute fuck. Despite this, I find myself getting up and sauntering over to join them before I pipe up.
Is this smack talk about Luke fucking right I'm hearing, eh?
Private conversation here, lady.
There's only amusement on G's face. The Asian guy starts to look ticked off as hell.
Don't worry, Holmes. She's clean. And she might be able to help you with your, predicament.
Course. A drunk's just stumbled through here with what I need.
Yeah.
Get real, G. No offense, lady, but you're smashed.
I mean, yeah.
I know, right?
I know,
Nothing
right?
beats being drunk after a hard day's work. Especially when you're working for Mr. Luke Wright.
So, she works for the guy?
Yes.
Doesn't that make her, I don't know, suspect?
See, have a
Sus?
little faith in me, why don't ya?
Sus.
I don't have much, and you might as well have something to go off. You're the one who was so desperate to come running to me for business.
Yoo-hoo! Still right here, fellas. 5'11". Can't miss me. Unlike Shorty over here. What's with that mad look? You want to dance, boy? You don't look like you can bust a groove.
Oh my god.
Maybe a leg, but with that fancy coat of yours.
To add insult to injury, I move directly behind him and use the top of his head as an armrest. But when he shakes me off, I plop into the seat right next to him.
Don't try me. You can hardly stay on your feet. We don't want to ruin your fancy coat, do we?
Ah, children, the both of you.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
you're still
she's
standing
drunk.
after all that, are you? Matt, you see this giantess? She's a legendary regular here. Been treating like there's no tomorrow. I'm a bit jealous. Can't do that anymore or my liver will give out on me.
Fair.
Good with the mic, too. Don't see you much recently, but I guess you're always busy, are you? You're some fancy designer or something, if I remember correctly.
Wait, I know you. You were at the open house for the mansion.
Yeah, put 2 and 2 together, Ash.
Yeah, that's right. Marianne I'm a famous interior designer extraordinaire. Ooh, that rhymes. Anyway, you guys were talking about that weenie, Luke.
That
Wright,
weenie.
right?
Or something. Can't really talk about it.
That
I don't
weenie.
even know if I can trust you, even if G said you're clean. But anything would be of help.
Well, I don't gossip about my clients, if that's all there is to this.
You wanted to gossip about him a few minutes ago, Marianne.
And that was the beer talking, not Marianne.
Hi, baby. Hi. Time for dinner? Time for dinner? Yeah.
You won't mind if we ask the beer a few questions then?
Yes, ask the beer directly.
Maybe. Depends on who's asking and what they're asking. But seriously, that guy is abso-fucking-lutely frustrating. One moment, he's an absolute dickhead. And then he's acting like an actual decent human being the next. I just can't figure him out. I can't imagine how that pretty wife of his can put up with him. If I were her, I'd dump his flat arse straight up.
I mean, And I'm not just saying that because I think Hannah's pretty or anything. Luke is a catch too, they both are. But I really cannot for the love of all things holy say how they even work out together.
Luke Wright, have you noticed anything strange about him while you were working with him? Anything peculiar? Of note?
You're the one being
peachy.
Peachy right about now, Holmes.
Peculiar peachy.
But nah, nothing that comes to mind off the top of my head. He's just like most rich, smarmy arseholes and then some.
A giggle bubbles up and I press my cheek against the cool countertop with my eyes shut tight, just because. Eventually cracking one eye open, just in case they thought I fell asleep. I grin at Holmes.
So, Holmes, I'm guessing you're some private detective or something. Is
Kinda.
it Hannah? Did she pay you to look if he's been cheating or some such?
Hannah's the wife, right? What about her? How is she?
How is she or how is she? Well and good. Definitely the nicer of the two and sexy as sin to boot. Not a private detective then? Are you from one of them tabloids wanting to know if the Luke Wright doesn't know how to put his pants on right? Pants. I'd take the pants off of...
Here we go. Slipping and slipping. I haven't been this drunk in a long time. It's a miracle I've been this coherent for as long as I've been right
asking you
now.
if you've noticed any odd behavior from her.
Odd behave... You what? I wonder how she'd be drunk. I can just imagine her like the giggly sort.
Probably.
What do you think?
These are serious questions, Marianne. Lives might just be at stake here.
What do you expect? She's smashed.
Yeah.
Why am I even doing this? This is getting me nowhere, G. She's not a reliable source. The chief, let alone the courts, aren't going to take the word of a drunk. This'll be dismissed, and I might be in trouble if they try to argue that I coerced a testimony out of her. This is a fucking train wreck.
Yeah.
You're a fucking train wreck now, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's about time you apply the brakes and stop for a bit.
I agree. The wave of despair that comes over both of them is palpable. If feelings had to taste, it'd be bitterer than a beer I'm full of. And it gets me thinking, though. Thinking doesn't get me far with too much shite in my system.
You know that's not an option. Thanks for being patient, McCullough. Good luck with your work on that mansion.
Speaking of that mansion, there's something going on in that place. Something. As ocht day! No wonder Mr. Wright likes it so much. It's as fishy as he is. Rotten bloke. Maybe that Santos girl is really onto something, eh? Suspicious shite, I'm telling you. Explains why she's so reluctant.
What do you mean that Santos girl is onto something?
It's sus. Do you not get? Before I get another word out, there's hands on my shoulders and everything starts to spin. I quickly slap his hands away the best I can and send him to the foulest look I can muster.
Take your hands off me, pipsqueak. I'm not a lady who's shaken or stirred unless you want me up-chucking on your pretty hair. But it's just like I said. Are you sure you aren't brain damaged or deaf? Santos girl from BRC showed us this creepy letter. You know, just like those spam stuff you get in your emails. And we thought it was some joke or that the girl was just a bit too green to handle a big sale like that. You should have seen the look on their faces when they saw it. Whiskey, that's Luke fucking Wright, you get me? And the missus didn't look too happy either. I should have taken a picture and posted it everywhere. When rich snobs give you that face, no wonder the Santos girl went all mental on us. Working with them does that, you know? I think I'm about to. I'm not mental yet, am I?
I like Marianne being drunk.
Anyway, just like I said, in that man... Hey, you okay? Holmes? You're looking a bit shaky yourself there.
And he really is pale. Paler than before, at least. I can see the gears turning in his head on overtime. Suddenly he shoves a card in my hand. On it, his name, Ashton Frey, and his number. But he has second thoughts as he grabs it from me and slips it into my pocket.
You're cute, pretty boy. But I prefer blondies.
Clearly.
Well, you're not exactly my type either, lady.
That's true.
But listen to me. If something comes up, don't do anything rash. If you think you're in danger or if you see anything suspicious, call me and the authorities as soon as possible. You understand me? That's 99...
I know what the damn emergency number is.
Right, 999. Good. Anyway, I have to run. See you, G.
The guy is quick on his feet and already up and at him as soon as the numbers leave his lips. Watching him as he maneuvers through the crowd at the other pub goers is enough to tire me out. Fast as he can, he's at the door and throws us a smile, and that's all we get before he's gone, just like that.
What about your drink, boy? I'll go put it on your tab then.
Holmes boy always like that, G?
Pretty much. But what about you? I suppose I'll put your drinks on your tab too. Don't want you to spill your wallets when you look like you're close to spilling yourself.
Yeah, and if it's fine by you, I think I'll go take a bit of a cat nap here. Just for a sec or two.
Go right ahead. I'll wake you when I close up shop.
Swimming in cocktails. Let's look at this. And the absinthe that he was doing. Mumbling a sleepy thanks, I doze off on the spot, face pressed on the counter. Already I dread the pain I have been for sleeping in such a position. But when you gotta go. Again, God.
Oh, Marianne! How long have you been standing there, dearie?
Come join us, Marianne. We won't bite. Unless you ask, that is.
Not that I can get much sleep to begin with. Jeez, these ladies. Ah, so this is Friday. This is the party. So, are we gonna die? We might just... Wait, what? There's only one way to end this? Am I gonna die? Is that the only way out of this? And why is this at 0% still? It's interesting though, I went back and did a few of these and it already has it highlighted. But why are we at 0 with Marianne? Do people ever have the feeling that they're working on something they really enjoy, but still it eventually tires them out? Because honestly, I've been feeling like
You have
this.
certainly exceeded expectations, Marianne. Everything looks so marvelous, and in such a short time, too.
The moments like these that make all the hard work worth it, definitely.
Well, I can't take all of the credit. People have certainly been enthusiastic about the idea of working on the Wright mansion. There won't be any more problems unless Mr. Wright has any more objections about the second bedroom.
Oh, no. We proceed with that room as planned.
Again, why am I going over this
I
again?
already agreed to him having his greenhouse and his vineyard and his stables. He may as well let me have this one thing.
We're only about halfway done, but the honest satisfaction on a client's face is enough for me to push through. Let's face it, in between my exasperation at Mr. Wright's antics and her, I've been burning the candles at both ends. I can't even close my eyes without seeing a dead girl's face. Dead girl. Dead. She's dead. I have to keep reminding myself of that, burying my feelings as deep as they buried her body 6 feet under. Jeez, Marianne. I shouldn't waste so much time on someone who's supposed to be gone. I've wasted so many years thinking about her already. There should be no need to bother myself with the dead when I should be bothering myself with the living. Too bad the living are usually complicated, if not more, than ghosts of the past.
Don't you have a party?
Yes. But Luke's just being a sweetie, you see. That friend he's visiting. He's having marital problems and he's just trying to cheer him up.
I'm guessing this is gonna, based on whatever Hannah
They've
did.
been married for a long time and they've hit a... how do they say it? A rough patch. His wife has a drinking problem and can be very neglectful. The poor thing really does his best to be a good husband, but it's never enough for her. Sometimes I think it's the years. Maybe it's been so long that they've lost that romantic spark. What do you think?
If I'm going to be completely honest, I need to ask. This is about you and Mr. Wright, isn't it?
Suppose it is. What would you tell me?
Then, I tell you it's none of my business. I tell you that I don't want to meddle. But if the troubled husband with the neglectful wife asked me for my honest opinion, I'd say that he shouldn't base his happiness and his self-worth on someone else. Maybe he should try being independent for a while. See what it's like when he isn't trying to please someone else and doing things. Everyone's supposed to be their own man or woman, right? A bit of breathing room never hurt anyone. We shouldn't let our fear control our lives.
Why she thinks a single woman like me would be the best source of relationship advice is beyond me. Still, I talk and answer to the best of my abilities without realizing I'm already pouring out a part of me that I thought were long gone. I like to believe my words will be some help to Mrs. Wright. If I'm honest, though, they are some help to me, like some weight have been taken off of my shoulders. Lorraine.
I really should handle what's left of the work.
You won't be attending the party? Oh, you really must, Marianne.
The weight of what happened to her still hasn't left me yet, did it? Maybe...
I'll try to stay in chat. Maybe grab a few bites and a drink, but I can't be around for the entirety of the event. My apologies. Busy, busy, busy.
You must stay a while. I'd love for you to meet some of my friends, and they're ever so excited to meet you. You need to say hello to the Lees, at least. If it wasn't for them, I'd never even heard of you.
Maybe it's about time I changed that.
See. So, if Foy can be excused?
Certainly. You'll have to excuse me as well. I must attend to the party before any early birds arrive. Because, believe me, they will throw a fuss if things aren't ready, even when they're not supposed to be here until an hour later.
Though I shouldn't dwell on the dead, I shouldn't just callously forget about them too. Saying that I have work left to do is an easy enough excuse to make. I know how other people see me. They see me as someone obsessed with her craft that she would so easily miss things like a party for it. Outside the parlor, people hurry about here and there in preparation for the Wright's grand housewarming party. None spare me a glance as I slip past them, each working on their most appointed roles and not daring to slack off while they work for what probably is the most powerful couple in Luxbourne. I make it to the kitchen with ease, the wine cellar being my final destination. But when is a great task ever simple? Probably never. And this is a great task, isn't it? My greatest one yet is worthy of being called a quest. I'm not acting as Marianne McCulloch, the professional interior designer, when I choose to lie about being too busy for a party. I'm Marianne McCulloch, a lawful neutral cleric with 9 points in wisdom and 8 in charisma. Just thinking of it like that makes it a bit cheesy. Yeah, it does. But it helps with the fear. It helps overcome the insane thought that I'm actively seeking out something that has been plaguing me for years. I might face my worst nightmare, or I might see nothing and find myself self-imagined grand quest fall flat. And who would have thought that the gatekeeper to my final quest would be someone I thought would be a valuable ally?
Snell! Hurry up, you snails! We are on a deadline and you are wasting my time!
The butler comes from the cellar and into the kitchen, trailed by a couple of others, people who I assume are most likely chefs and bartenders. He raises a brow, seeing me just standing there by the hatch, by the trap door. It almost looks like he's going to throw me out of the kitchen without permission. But then he motions for the others to disperse and familiarize themselves with their surrounding. Meanwhile, he continues to stand there, preventing my entry into the darkness beyond.
What are you doing here, Fraulein? This is not the place for guests or in an architect right now. I request you leave.
I was just looking around for any last-minute things, yes?
Yes, you have been doing that a lot. Looking around, snooping about. Now is not the time for such things. If you're not careful, people might think you are up to something.
I think you are. The look he gives me is almost chilling. It's if life was a game book, he'd probably be a true neutral warlock guarding the treasure room. A difficult opponent to beat with 9 points in wisdom and 8 in dexterity.
I'm not done yet. I actually need to go into the wine cellar. Just need a quick go at the place. So just don't mind me. I'll be out of your hair soon enough.
Go outside, enjoy the party. Bask in the praise and adulation they will no doubt shower you with when the madam speaks highly of you. Surely you've had enough of this stuffy old kitchen by now. You do not want to cause trouble. Both the Bratwurst and Hannah want this to be perfect. It would be a disservice and disrespect to toe out of line and risk it being anything otherwise.
Okay, Johans is really sus.
And more importantly, I will be blamed for any failure that happens tonight.
Johans, calm down. His intervention almost turns me away. Maybe this is a sign I'm not meant to seek Lorraine out. You really shouldn't, but...
Please, I just lost something the last time I was down there. It's really important.
15 minutes. 9, 10 minutes. Any longer and I'll pull you out of there myself. The Bratwurst will be furious if he thinks anyone is touching his precious wine without his permission.
Thank you. This seriously means a lot.
He steps aside. At this point, it looks like there's no turning back. This is a terrible idea. Terrible idea. She just told Hannah that maybe she should try moving on with her life. And now she's down here searching for a dead girl. Crazy. Sally greets me ominously as I descend. They really put the mirror on the door that goes to this weird place. The space feels smaller, with a lot more bottles lining the wall compared to before, and knowing what might be waiting for me here makes things worse. I almost hope in a morbid and twisted sense that Lorraine would just be standing there, waiting for me. Ah! It was decided without my... What? I've literally decided practically nothing for Marianne. All I can hope is my high relationships will keep me safe. I don't know about that, though. It would be just like her to joke about inappropriate meeting in the dark in secluded areas. But just like the broken bottles and the wine that was spilled on the ground before, no trace of her can be found.
Where are you, Lorraine? I miss you, you know?
Marianne is so dumb. Literally, she's probably the dumbest person I think I've played in this game. Funny that when you want to find something, that's a time when you can't. The thought that I wouldn't be able to see Lorraine one last time fills me with such despair. Sure, it was crazy to come here willingly in the first place, but all I'm really looking for is closure. And if I can't see her, the least I can do is offer her a prayer. On the verge of tears, I kneel in the middle of the dark, damp wine cellar and put my hands together for
God
prayer.
grant her eternal rest and...
Oh no. I can't be helped. That is when her laughter fills the air. It rings along the walls until it echoes in my head, and like a siren song, it draws me in before it comes to stop upon reaching a dead end.
Ooh, could it be an adventure then? A secret passage. There must be a hidden switch somewhere.
Why is Marianne doing this to herself? I don't understand why this is even a good idea to her.
Go look. This is the most interesting thing you've done by far.
Thanks, dead girl. A secret entrance, although the idea of itself is inane, only to make this entire endeavor even more perilous, but I need to find a way to open it. Already I'm running my hand against the wall in order to find some sort of hidden switch. It didn't give when I tried to push it open before, and I doubt it would have changed anytime soon. But if there is a door, there's always a way to open it, hopefully without the need to break it down.
Shame I can't roll for perception checks in real life.
She's such a nerd, too. I love that. I know, I guess she needs closure, but she literally just got done telling Hannah that maybe she should try being her own person. So, like, it doesn't make sense with what she was telling Hannah, but... Marianne is probably the most confusing and difficult character that I've played so far in this. I'm just like, girl, I don't get you. You're so bad at making friends, and you go back and forth between everything, and it's just like, oh. A shame, yeah, she said that. It's such a silly thing to say out loud, but there's no amusement on my face, and I do check, glancing the mirror from the study.
A sanity check would be more fitting right now, wouldn't it?
She's human, I guess. But she's not very consistent, and that's what annoys me. At least everyone else is pretty consistent. I mean, how long have I been down here searching for the switch of a hidden door, in order to go find a dead girl, no less? It isn't only unreasonable, it's insane. And at this point, they'll find me clawing at the walls, using my nails to try and see if there are any grooves or catches I might have missed, and Johans will be very upset. Yeah, it's true. Sometimes we do. It's just, girl, oh. I'm surprised I've gotten past the 10 minutes that was given me and that I'm not being hauled out of here. Yeah, where is Johans? I don't want to bank on the chance that I have more time, although I know I really shouldn't let these kind of things bother me too much right now. If I don't continue looking, there's no point in me going down here. Dirt and rocks stick underneath my fingernails in my search, but there. A section of the wall about the size of my palm and just as well hidden as the hollow wall is a switch, or a button, rather.
Face it, Tigress. You've just hit the jackpot.
Tigress? Interesting nickname. The excitement I feel at the discovery finds me pressing it without second thought. But when a click echoes in the cellar and the hidden door creaks open, I stop. Ah! Ah! What? What? There's only one... Okay, I saved. Let me just double check. I saved. I'll go in, and then if I don't like the way it goes, I'm gonna reload and stay. No time like the present, eh? Oh my god. Why am I still at 0% for Marianne? I'll have to hurry, and I turn around and there's a crash. In my haste, I bumped into the mirror, making it fall to the ground and shatter in 100 pieces. Ah shit, I hope that was an original piece. I don't think my insurance will be able to cover it. I can probably find an imitation to replace it, and... The door slammed behind closed doors. Achievement. Oh my god, so much just popped up here. The cellar. Okay. Door slammed shut behind me and I nearly have a heart attack because of it. But when I see a much more visible lever on the side, I calm down and shake my head. On the other side is a passageway, an underground tunnel that has me mystified for a mere moment until I realize what it holds. And where does those stairs go? Cells closed off by heavy iron bars line the sides. A general sense of death and decay lingers heavy through the years, though the years have taken away most of it, if not all of the stench. of the foul smell of humans and corpses alike being left to rot. The breeze, most likely coming from the other end of the passage that goes through, is to thank for that. If the place had been enclosed like a mausoleum, I imagine the odor would be fouler than it is
Dear Lord
now.
in St. Adelaide, bless these poor souls.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it, though the architecture of their time was magnificent. Human rights wasn't exactly a big thing back then. And if the Ermagod mansion had a place like this hidden away, who knows what sorts of heinous acts were done down here. There is no time to dwell on it further, though, not when... Hi, lady! She leans on the wall. She's just like, hey, what's up? Her arms and limbs, almost every inch of her lithe body is peppered with wounds and rotten flesh. And it is then that the putrid smell of blood and gore hits me, making it so that I don't even question how I missed it in the first place.
How long has this been here? Oh, that smell. Oh, you're a nasty one, aren't you?
Trying to do a good ending. The true ending I'm not interested in. I've heard about who has to die for that. I don't like that. I flinch as the thing twitches. Hi! And as soon as it opens its eyes and looks at me with a smile, there's nothing on my mind but horror. I break into a run. I try to keep on running no matter how much my legs and feet scream for me to stop. I keep going even when I look back and I see nothing of her anymore because I can still hear her. The scampering of her feet, the words she tries to form with her bloodied mouth, and the painful sounds of bones grinding against each other as she moves closer and closer to me.
How long are these damn tunnels?
Apparently forever long. There's a split second where I know that thing is right behind me, a strange sensation creeping over my limbs when her presence looms over me, and then suddenly, I can't even do anything before I'm yanked by the hair and pulled back. Oh, this is definitely a girl ghost. The only girls pull each other's hairs like that. Still, I struggle up until I'm thrown to side like some ragdoll. Dang! I hit the ground on my side, and the musty smell of old hay that reaches me is my only indication that I'm alive.
Please don't hurt me!
I don't think begging a ghost is a good idea, but okay. My body hurts and I keep my eyes shut, afraid of what might happen next.
What's wrong, Marianne? Are you really afraid of little old me?
Well, that didn't look like you. As a flash of hope, she can help. She can save me from that thing. Or she is that thing. Why isn't Marianne figuring that out? But as I see her smile, the same one that thing have. That thing has? You mean? That thing have? Well, that's bad grammar. I know that it isn't Lorraine. At least she figured that out. I am a fool to think of this and so in the first place. It never could have been her to begin with. Yes. The real Lorraine is dead. Good. She finally accepts it. She looms over me, backs me further in the cell that I was thrown in.
What are you?
A weird ghost demon. Lorraine turns and shifts into that thing from before. And with that some gruesome grin, it takes a step forward to the cell. Towards me. I barely scramble to my knees when the door of the cell slams shut and it stands there staring. Shouts for help ring out in the tunnels, but none of them are coming from me. I'm more paralyzed and shocked by what is happening. My throat tightens at being fooled by the image of Lorraine, at the thought of being trapped down here. So then where...
Help me, oh help me! Are you getting all this on camera, Carl?
This is weird.
Yeah, but are you guys sure this is a good idea? We're breaking and entering here. Don't worry.
Oh.
The rest of this place haven't been here in a long time. Look at this thing, though. It has writing in blood like some cheesy 80s horror prop. Wait, I have an idea. Oh man, that's genius!
What kind of butthead would even take this thing seriously? Maybe we can stick this in Rowan's backpack. That's Juarez kid would panic.
Why does Rowan sound familiar? Also, that is definitely Hannah's voice actor. Yeah, prank gone wrong, for sure.
What? Spit it out! Behind you!
There in the corner of the cell, a digital camera comes flickering to life and a video is played on the black screen. It was hard to even consider paying attention to it when my life was on the line, but when the ghost doesn't move and the teenagers' mocking shouts of help me filled the cell, I just had to watch. And what I had seen, students judging by their St. Goretti uniforms. They were holding... Yeah. And that thing, the woman... Oh, hey, now. I see you're editing yourself in and out. So is the ghost supposed to be... Rowan is Kylie's brother. Okay, so they wanted... Yeah, that makes sense. I was about to say, where did I hear Rowan's? So they wanted to prank Rowan, and they supposedly wrote the letter But I remember seeing a picture of a true fragment thing for the story that showed the blonde princess, whatever, lady of the mansion writing the letter because she went insane because the maid she tortured to death basically was haunting her. No, no, no. Well, that wasn't the spot I needed, so I guess, well, she's just down there forever now. Whatever, Marianne's gone. No, I'm kidding. Holy crap, Rebecca's got a long story. Oh my god, Rebecca. See, I'm at 0%. What is this? What is this? Oh, they add the send this to 5 people. Okay, that makes more sense. I was about to say, there's no way they wrote all of it. That also makes sense, because there's no way the lady of the house would have written send this to 5 people. Why would she have even done something like that? That makes no sense. Okay, hold up. There's a new profile. I'm gonna read the profile, but then I'm gonna have to end it there, because I need to cook dinner. 29. She's older? How old is Ash, then? I don't know yet. Because Isabella's 26. If they're childhood friends, I'd imagine he's similar age, so I didn't think they'd be older, but okay. Master's degree varies. What is Kirk religion? No idea. Although of Scottish descent, she grew up Luxborn and even went to school in St. Goretti. Her parents are professors of European history and Southeast Asian history at Luxborn. And they were often busy, and that forced Rebecca to be independent early on. Surrounded by books and instilled with a love of learning, she was a star pupil and was often called a teacher's pet for it. Her passion for academics leading to a career in the industry was expected of her. She came out of her shell in high school years and started becoming the Spitfire she is now. Before then, Ashton was her only friend, though she found him aggravating at first. Well, when you're kids, yeah. Independent and used to taking care of others, it is no surprise when she helped out the young foreigner who moves in next door, being Isabella. Just resave that. Yep, weird, yeah. Not sure, I can't remember all the things in this game. Well, there's a lot of things in this game, and I'm probably not going to remember all of it. I just know, because I watched someone play it 3 years ago, so that memory is kind of like hazy. And I only looked up certain things to make certain relationships happen. That's it, because I'm just trying to get certain relationships and everyone alive. Like, I don't care about the true ending and people dying and the who needs to die. Whatever. They can always go look that up with someone else who's already done it. But, like, I just want everyone to be happy, man. It's funny that I have this black screen and I'm just talking about the game when I could just do this. But yeah, I'm going to have to end this one here. I went for 3.5 hours today. That's a lot. That's a lot. I'll probably be back on Tuesday. I don't know about tomorrow. I have some things to do tomorrow. I think I remembered it well enough because I just watched this thing last year. That's fair. And Luke is, yeah, I really like Luke. He seems too obvious to be like a bad serial killer type of guy like Ash thinks. He obviously has issues, but I do like his character. He's the one who's probably made me laugh the most out of everyone. But yeah, I'll see you later, hopefully on Tuesday, which is going to be the 19th. Yeah. But yeah, thanks for stopping by and for watching the other ones that I have on my channel. And until then, bye guys.